Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Sports Star Chicago Sports. This is the Halas Hangover, and tonight we're getting deep into Ryan Poles' extension. Did he deserve that? And we got some second-round contract chaos, and of course, ESPN rips the Bears again. The four-letter network can right after this. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Bizzo Joe's already in the house. Thanks for checking in, brother. Breaking news. Bruce, as always, is in the house, the producer, and the four of us are together for it seems like the first time in eons. Welcome to
summer vacation. Summer vacation, it's bound to happen.
What up, everybody?
Hey, good job, Brandon.
What'd you say, Brandon?
I got rid of the box.
Oh, you did? How'd you do that?
All right, let's not get into
tell me
it was showing comments on stage.
Oh, it was showing comments on stage. Gotcha. Well, we're back in. And boys, while we were gone over the weekend, we all tried to get to it, but unfortunately our lives are crazy busy. We got newborns on two of these guys, and the other two of us were just busy doing family stuff. But
I live on a farm. So.
Yeah, Brandon's always busy because
down by the river. Listen, having a newborn at damn near 40, Kyle, it's a fun time. I don't regret it at all.
I was gonna say it's the best of times, man. I sometimes
it's amazing.
Newborn. Yeah. I do. I miss that part, but I'm glad my daughter can be self-sufficient as well. So
I can't wait. All my kids up to this point are not like football fans. So I'm gonna make this one. She's gonna be my football buddy. That's gonna happen.
There you go.
So I'm looking forward.
My kid likes football, man. She does. She likes the Bears. She's a Bears.
Oh yeah,
fan.
Bear down.
So boys, we got so much.
What's up, John?
We got so much, and I know I'm attacked by some of the fans in here. So I'm gonna try and break this down as best as I can, because since he was hired in 2022, General Manager Ryan Poles has orchestrated a full rebuild in Chicago, and I think. And that started obviously with this big move in 2023. We traded number one overall pick to the Carolina Panthers, aggressive long-term plays, and upset the stage for the Bears to eventually land everybody's favorite quarterback, Caleb Williams, their top pick last year. So he doubled down this year and hired who? Ben Johnson as the head coach, signaling the start of a new era on the lakefront. So now that we got our coach, now that we have our franchise quarterback, I got to ask you guys, Ryan Poles has not had the greatest start to his tenure. He's got a 275 winning percentage.
That's not good. That's not good, Sean. 275 winning percentage.
Not at the best.
That's not 5-year extension good.
Well, you know what? We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out because I want to hear from everybody in the chat as well. Because it's not only about this. Ryan Poles, as we just said, he's made some great moves. That's kind of reshaped the franchise. When we get into draft picks, his first rounders, Darnell Wright, Caleb Williams. We don't know about Colston Loving yet, but we got Roma Dunze, his second rounders, and Gordon, Brisker, Dexter, Ty Stevenson, Luther Burden, Trapilo, and Turner haven't signed. We'll get into that in a little bit. Some of the best of the rest for me were Braxton Jones, Torrey Taylor, Roshan Johnson, Terrell Smith. I left off guys like
that's kind of rough. That's kind of rough. There.
It is.
Yeah.
It's very rough to find things outside of the top 10 or outside of the
Not
first
2 rounds. Yeah.
But then you look at some of the trades that he smashed. For me, he did smash the Montez Sweat trade. I know not everybody agrees with that, but obviously Joe Thuney, he swung the trade. Joe Tuna. And then obviously the humongous trade that's reshaping this franchise in more than one way. The trade with Carolina where he was able to get Darnell Wright, Caleb Williams, Tyreek Stevenson, finished it off with Luther Burden, the asterisk there, obviously still not signed. And then the players that he signed in free agency, Edwards, Edmonds, Dahlman, Swift, Jarrett, Byard, Deo, and obviously not from his regime, but very big to all of us, was the re-signing of one Jalen Johnson.
You forgot Nate Davis on that list, Sean.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I was actually going to put together a list of zeros, but I was like, you know what? We'll just talk about them because there are zeros. When you talk about the Dan Free,
there's always gonna be with a GM, any NFL GM, right, Sean? Like,
and this is where I want to get with you guys because when you talk about the Dan Freeney, which was a terrible trade, wound up playing, I think, 91 snaps. Most of those came in the last game of the regular season.
That was a 6th-round pick.
What's up, Calvin?
Six-round pick. It's still a pick, and it was a
Calvin
trading game to add to the team. You talk about
I'll
Ryan
tell
Bates
you-
for that 4th-round pick. You talk about Chase Claypool,
Dante?
which that pick actually turned into Joey Porter in Pittsburgh. So there's been some fumbles.
Keenan Allen for a 4th-round pick and then 1-year rental.
Keenan Allen, 1-year rental.
Did you say Ryan Bates? Did you say Bates?
Consider that bad, though?
Do I consider it bad
Justin Fields for less than offered
for a 6th-round pick? Yeah. Do I consider it bad that they traded a 4th-round pick that's a manageable contract for multiple years?
Yeah.
For a guy who was a 1-year rental that made no difference in a very disappointing season? Yes, I consider that a negative. I do.
Okay. The results would imply that it is. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't make the impact on the team that you would have wanted him to. The weapons were not as good as you expected it to be. Your whole plan kind of fell flat on its face, and you didn't sign the guy, and you never really had a path to sign him when you traded for him. We talked about that, throughout that entire season. Like, Keenan Allen will not be back. That was like an understood thing from the moment they traded for him. So that's a waste of an asset in my mind if you don't win that season. If you don't have a winning season.
Not if you're focused on the development of your quarterback, and that's why you brought him here.
I guess that's part of it. That's part of it for sure. But I mean, that's less quantifiable than the things I was just talking about, Kyle. That's for sure. What up, V-Dog? Thanks for being here. I saw that you subscribed today, V-Dog. Why were you slacking so hard on subscribing? We had to earn that shit with V-Dog for sure. Thank you for subscribing, though, V-Dog.
Yeah, thank you, V-Dog.
Everybody in here, hit that like button. Sean's trying to ask a question. Go for it, Sean. Let's get into this Ryan Poles conversation a little more. We're talking about it now, but like,
I want. Who was that came? Someone came in on the show on Wednesday and asked me if I changed my mind on Ryan Poles, seeing the way everything is done, everything he's done up to this point. And it's been long talked about that this guy has been a GM learning on the job, and I do feel that way, and I feel like he's kind of learned from his mistakes. But for me, the thing that I said on Wednesday that I'm going to reiterate today is the talent evaluation. When I put up these draft picks, on the screen, you take off the picks that he had, Burden, Trapilo, Turner, and Loveland. He's had 11 successes out of 26 possible draft picks. He's had 36 total draft picks as the Chicago Bears GM. And Dustin, you even shuddered at those bottom 4: Torrey Taylor, Roshan Johnson.
Torrey Taylor was a miscalculation in my mind as well.
I agree.
Right? I thought that was a reach for a punter in the 4th round when you needed a defensive end. They turned around and they traded back up for Austin Booker. But like when Torrey Taylor's on that list of guys beyond the 2nd round, and there's only 4 or 5 guys there that we can really even claim, like that's rough because teams get built, Sean, in those rounds.
Yeah.
Your depth for your team gets built in those rounds, and your consistency is dependent upon that. When you're constantly drafting guys in the 3rd round and beyond that don't have a second contract on your team, you end up in the negative, which we've talked about a lot, and Poles has put this team talent evaluation wise in the negative in multiple situations. So I mean, that has to be stated plainly. It does.
Yeah,
to me.
Where are you, Brandon? Where are you, Kyle? Where are you guys? What's up, Daniel? Thanks for checking in. What's up, John? Thanks for checking in, brother.
Daniel Jeffrey is always a fun time. Thanks for being here, brother.
I think Poles has been tremendous on the money side of things as a general manager, which is a huge part. And it's overlooked by the people that are just focused on your roster because it requires money to put a good roster together, and it requires making sacrifice like the Khalil Mack trades, the Robert Quinn trades. He's good at that, man. He's done it well. I cannot say that I think that Ryan Poles has done a good job with the roster just yet. I'm not going to say it's been, the record would say that it's been egregious, Sean, but I think that there was just a lot of ass here before Ryan Poles got here, and he had a big mess to clean up. But last year, for a successful GM would have been the year you started to see them round the curve.
Yeah.
And it just didn't happen because he decided to stick with an egregiously bad coaching staff. So even if you were to say
Which
to me,
is
Ryan
an
Poles,
unforgivable decision,
right,
isn't
right.
that?
So if you say to me, Ryan Poles has done a good job with the roster, it's like, yeah, but he failed them. So it's still on him. And at the end of the day, that he's really still failed at this. When it comes to putting this team together, he's failed. He's failed at this because no matter how good the team was, he didn't give any leadership. That was his choice. So I think right now I would say to you, Sean, that I think he's done a bad job. I think Ryan Poles has done a bad job as a general manager with the building of this roster.
As you say that, though, Brandon, do you think over last year, since the trade with Carolina, the picks that he acquired during that from the Carolina, and what he's done with those picks, he's started to turn his trajectory around in your mind? Do you feel you said his arrow is pointing down? Do you feel like it's starting to point up for you now?
Well, I think he made good picks where most teams should. I mean, you're talking like first round picks.
Sure.
It's hard to miss on those guys, man. If you're
Sure.
missing on first round picks
Yeah, it
consistently,
happens.
you're awful. No, I mean it happens here and now and again, but if it happens consistently, if you're missing on first round picks consistently, then you have
Well,
no
even
business.
if you're hitting on
in
first
this
round
industry.
picks consistently, you're doing a damn good job too.
Correct.
Because
Yeah.
there is bust potential.
And
with
the
all
verdict's still out on that. We're expecting Darnell Wright to take this big stride because he's not a top 10 player at the position, which he should fucking be. Then
We'll get into that.
you have Caleb Williams, who verdict's still out. You have Roma Dunze, verdict's still out. I mean, guys, there is nothing set in stone that says Ryan Poles has put a really good roster together. Nothing. There's nothing.
No,
Nothing
there's no winning, right? There's
there's no winning.
Right? There's no winning. You don't have those all pro caliber players that stand out to you. What it comes down to, and everybody's been pointing out in the chat, and Kyle, you should touch on this, because when the Ben Johnson hire happened, this was fait accompli as far as I was concerned. Ben Johnson stated all along throughout that entire process, alignment was what was most important to him.
Wow.
And that extension for Poles was going to happen to line up with Ben Johnson. Now, whether or not Ben Johnson is here because of Ryan Poles or other factors, that we'll get into that, and whether or not Ryan Poles is the shot caller right now versus Ben Johnson, we should get into that as well. But that alignment was going to happen. The extension made sense. It's what a good, stable franchise should do. But when you look at a guy who was hired at the same time as Ryan Poles, like Kwesi Mensah-Adolfo in Minnesota, who's 34-17 as a GM, and Ryan Poles has 15 wins in that time, right? That's a very big gap between those two. So he's got to start. It has to happen this year, guys. This thing needs to work. That's the way I feel about it, Kyle. What do you think about the alignment and how important that was for this Bears franchise with Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson?
Yeah, I mean, you guys, the Ryan Poles extension was decided the second they decided to let him go the next head coach. That was already in the books. They decided if Ryan Poles is going to be the guy to stay here and hire the next head coach, we have to align the coach and the GM. And if one of them gets fired, they're going to get fired together.
What's up, Lindsay?
Because you can't fire Ryan Poles now and go, hey, come be a new GM for the Chicago Bears, but you don't get to pick your coach, because the Bears have been trying this for 40 years now, where they hire a coach and then a GM and then a president of football. You have to start aligning it. It has to be aligned. So the fact that if they decide they're going to bring a new GM, they're like, oh, we're going to fire Ryan Poles and bring a new GM in here. It's not fair to the new GM to have to keep Ben Johnson as his coach. And the Bears have been trying this for 20 years. It's not working. Every other team in the NFL hires a president of football operations, then a GM. That GM picks his coach. The coach picks his quarterback. If the Bears are going to do this again, that's the way they need to do it. So I believe that if Ryan Poles gets fired, Ben Johnson should go with him. And the new GM should have the right to decide who he wants to run his team, especially just considering the fact that he's going to put a certain team together in a certain style and a certain identity that he wants, and he needs to find a coach who's best at running that scheme. So as far as I'm concerned, if Ryan Poles is gone, Ben Johnson is gone as well. They need to stop doing this thing where they're like, hey, we're going to hire a GM, but he doesn't get to pick his coach, and the coach doesn't get to pick his quarterback. They're the only team in the NFL who does this. They're the only team in the NFL who does this, and it's never worked. It's not working. Yeah. How long have we heard Bears fans can bitch about alignment? Well, alignment is you hire a president of football operations, he hires the GM hires coach drafts quarterback. That is alignment. That's what they're talking about. Whenever they're talking about alignment, that's what they're talking about. But
Well, Ben Johnson chose Caleb. He did not draft him, right? So I mean, that's not necessarily falling into that alignment.
Sure,
but I think
doesn't mean that it was the right thing to do. I mean,
no, for sure. But I think the conversation really, when you're talking about this, is who do you think is the boss when it comes to these personnel moves right now? Is it Ben Johnson or is it Ryan Poles? Because I think the Bears just had the best offseason they've had under Ryan Poles, and I think that's directly aligned with the fact that Ben Johnson is here.
I think it's Kevin. I think the best offseason they've had under Ryan Poles, if you consider the fact that they got their what's probably going to be the best franchise wide receiver and quarterback in the same draft last year. I mean, that is the best offseason the Chicago Bears have ever had. If Caleb Williams
wins the Super Bowl for the football games because they didn't have an offensive line in front of them.
Is the franchise quarterback who wins. If he wins multiple Super Bowls, the year that they added him to the team is the most important year that Ryan Poles will ever have with the Chicago Bears. It's not even a question. It's not even a question.
I don't know about that because
how many franchise quarterbacks are in the NFL? How many are in the NFL?
8 times,
7? 8. How many franchise quarterbacks are in the NFL? 8? 10? How many?
I don't know. Do you have an answer? What do you?
I'm going to say 8. I mean, you consider guys like Jared Goff franchise quarterbacks or system quarterbacks who are really good at playing the system.
We got to decide if Caleb Williams is a franchise quarterback, and that's what you've been talking about this whole offseason, Kyle, is putting the right things around him to show if he is or not. And a big part of that was this offseason and then vastly improving that offensive line.
Yeah, people compare Ryan Poles to other GMs like they're apples to oranges. You guys, ESPN, the year that Ryan Poles got here, voted the Chicago Bears to have the worst roster in the NFL. The year that Ryan Poles arrived to the Chicago Bears. The same ESPN we're about to reference for the rest of this show voted the Chicago Bears to be the worst roster in the NFL. He got here and said, it's going to take me 3 or 4 years to get rid of all this garbage and bring in my players and make this team competitive enough to win the Super Bowl. We are going into year 4.
DJ Profit?
Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, DJ Moore.
Brandon did talk about the cap situation, by the way.
And by the way,
he did give him credit for that.
When you talk about some of the players that are here, you guys, players look worse on losing teams. Like if the Bears start winning games and they start to play like a more cohesive unit this season, some of those players are probably going to look better than they have in the past. Like, for instance, Brandon, Darnell Wright might make ESPN's top 10 tackle list if the Bears are a competitive football team and on the verge of a playoff run. He might make their list because he's just going to get more notoriety.
If he's performing, for sure.
It's part of being a good football team in sport or a good team in sports. You just get more notoriety. I mean, even when Jalen Johnson had one of the best seasons the quarterbacks ever had, he didn't make ESPN's top 100 or NFL Network's top 100 list. It's just part of being on a bad team. That's what happens. It's just like most guys on bad. Joe Burrow had the best numbers in the NFL last year as a quarterback, and he was nowhere near the top of the MVP conversation. He ended up like number 5 in voting.
But he's still like the third best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah,
the ESPN ranked him as the third best quarterback in the NFL on those lists that you were referring to.
That's part of it. But,
it's performing individually.
What's funny to me
that's important too.
Bears fans are also kind of just very sporadic when it comes to Ryan Poles, because you'll talk to Bears fans who will bitch at you about Ryan Poles for 45 minutes. And then in the same breath, they'll be like, by the way, is this not the best secondary we've had in the last 30 years? Is this the best wide receiver core we've had in the last 30 years? Is this the best interior offensive line we've had in the last 30 years? Is this the best coach we've had in the last 30 years?
Ryan Poles made these decisions. Matter if nobody's leading these people.
All right.
And then you have, and then Kyle, you can draft all the.
If you choose the leader. You can choose the head coach, guys.
Yeah, you can draft all the talent in the world.
Ben Johnson had a choice between.
So I'm saying, if you're going to give him the excuse of the players were on a bad team, so that's why they underperformed, he gave them the head coach that led to that.
Yeah,
correct.
He missed, and now he gets another shot. The Bears are like, we trust enough to give you another shot to hire your head coach.
Well, and you can draft. They got him the alignment.
But you can draft all the talent.
Take both into account. That's all I'm saying.
You can draft all the talent in the world, but like I've said time and time again on these shows,
I'm going to keep. Listen, has Ryan Poles made mistakes since he's been the Bears GM? Yes. Has John Lynch made mistakes since he's been the 49ers GM? Yes. Are the 49ers one of the most consistently competitive teams in the NFL? Yes. Mistakes happen, guys. There's nobody in the world who's perfect. First round picks are busts. Ask Trey Lance. It happens. It happens, right? That happens. You don't know what you're going to get from every single player in the draft. What I will say is, I will definitely not be the guy. I believe that Ryan Poles has built a roster for the Chicago Bears that is closest they've been to making Super Bowl since 2006. I know people are going to say that's preemptive because you don't know what they're going to be, but I think there's enough talent on this team that if they keep adding to this team, and Ben Johnson's the guy we think he is, they are going to be in the conversation for
Super Bowl. That's important, though, man. Is Ben Johnson the guy you think he is? And it comes down to, listen,
all we can do is project, and we don't know.
You can draft a bunch of talent. But leadership is not just calling the right timeouts and making a good challenge at a fourth quarter, man. It's developing fucking players. And it's the thing that I continue to harp on. I've gone back to this 100 times. They don't do it in this organization. They never
haven't.
have.
So basically,
When you draft a 4th rounder and you're a Chicago Bears fan, you just think that guy's done.
it's like I heard
That's
Dustin say it.
That's
Dustin
you,
said,
when a
Matt
player gets
Everett's
drafted in the 4th
unforgivable.
round.
Let
Ryan
Brandon
Poles
finish
was
his.
just given an
Let
extension.
Brandon finish his point.
In my time as a
Still
Bears
talking,
fan,
Brent.
in my time as a Bears fan, when players are drafted in the mid rounds, I assume that's the last we'll ever hear of them, because that's how this organization treats young talent. Nobody gets better. Nobody becomes a star. Nobody goes from late round pick to Pro Bowler. It doesn't fucking happen.
How back are you going? Because Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs, Charles Tillman, they're stars. Those guys are all stars. They're perennial Hall of Famers. What do you like? How far are you talking? Are you talking about in the last 15
Well,
years?
I mean, I'm not going over the history of the franchise, Kyle. I'm talking about relevance. Well, I'm not talking about
There's
20 years ago. That's 2 decades ago. You're talking.
It's the same franchise with the same owner.
Okay. But in terms of, we're talking about
Leadership.
leadership. What I'm talking about is Ryan Poles.
What I'm
guys.
saying is, I've
all we
heard
can do
Bears
is
fans
judge Poles off of what he has done.
I've heard Bears fans say the retaining Matt Everett is not forgivable. But here's the problem: the Bears forgave him. The Chicago Bears and George McCaskey, Kevin Warren forgave Ryan Poles, let him go get Ben Johnson, and they were like, "All right, you're the guy here for the next 5 years. You and Ben create Ben Johnson."
The extension needed to happen when they let him hire the head coach.
Yes, so they forgave him. They forgave him for the Matt Everett retaining. So. All I'm saying is, I believe that this team is going to, at some point, with Caleb Williams, if we believe we all think he is who he is, but that determines. There's no way you can know that for a fact, right? All we can do is wait for the season to start and watch Caleb Williams with better talent around him. That's all we can do, and better coaching. That's all we can do. We should wait. I believe they are going to compete for a Super Bowl with Caleb Williams here, and if that's the case, I'm not going to be the guy in a sports podcast who shit all over a GM that won a Super Bowl for the Chicago Bears for the first time since 1985.
Nobody's shitting all over Ryan Poles because we're pointing out his resume.
I didn't say you guys were. I never said anybody on this podcast is shitting. There's been Bears fans who've shit all over Ryan Poles. I think
I've shit on him.
There was people on this podcast calling for his job.
Yeah. Well, and hold on here. Hold on. DJ Prophet says right here, the current state of this organization is not the organization you speak of. I think he's referring to what I was saying in regards to how bad this is. But it is. It is. Until the record says otherwise, it very much fucking is.
Yes, but in retrospect
of how you measure this, then yes,
in retrospect.
I also don't think a lot of Bears fans listened to Ryan Poles' introductory interview when he was hired here, or they just ignored him. Like if he's like, "Hey, it's going to take me 3 or 4 years to make this team competitive," and after year 2, people are like, "Why the fuck are we competitive?" It's like, well, then you did not listen to Ryan Poles' interview.
Let's let Sean get in on this, guys. Sean's been quiet. Sean, what you got, bud?
Oh, hold on. V-Dog loves to attack me here on Ryan Poles, so.
This was Poles' first legit coaching search. He actually led Diana Rossini, mentioned on Scoop City today. He was kind of pushed into flus because the process was damn near done when he took the job. Listen, we gave him that leeway on that. You retained him. You kept him going into this last season.
Yeah, but you also got to give him credit because there was people on this podcast who were saying Ryan Poles should consider Mike McCarthy, and after he had hired Ben Johnson, everybody's saying it was the best hire possible. Like, well, then you got to give him credit for that too, because if you listen to other people who would hire Mike McCarthy, but I think Ben Johnson was the best coach available. He hired Ben Johnson. He didn't hire Mike McCarthy
over Ben Johnson.
There was people on. I've heard people talk about like the Bears.
Nobody thought Mike McCarthy was a better candidate than Ben Johnson. I thought Mike Vrabel could be for sure.
I think there was people who think that Mike McCarthy was a better leader of men than Ben Johnson.
Sean, go ahead.
I was reading a comment. I didn't hear what you said.
I'm going to say this. I think there is some validity to what Brandon's saying during this last 13-year run. But I think prior to that, there was development of players. There was a good structure in place. Over the past
when there was leadership
years,
that was my point.
Lost that, but I think with this staff that was hired, I think you're going to see that come back to Chicago now.
Ryan Poles, the staff was hired by Ryan Poles. Yeah.
Now,
no, Ben Johnson hired the staff. Ryan Poles hired Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson hired the staff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you.
So direct correlation.
So here, but this is Ben Johnson's offseason, guys. I just want to make sure that that's as clear as possible. This is Ben Johnson's offense.
To what DJ Prophet said just a little bit ago. I believe Kevin Warren is the man in charge of the Chicago Bears.
He should be. He's Ryan Poles' boss. He
Exactly.
should be.
Exactly. It's not Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson. And what I was talking about earlier when I called those two guys on the score morons.
Different oversight of different things, though, here, though. So
it's still, I'm going to tell you, this guy sat back like a predator the last couple of years. Kevin Warren watched. He stepped up now and said, enough of this bullshit. It's over. This is how it's going to be. He's laid down the law. I was wrong about Kevin Warren. I thought he was being a pushover. The guy was being very cerebral with what he was trying to accomplish.
He was watching and waiting.
Yes, and now you see
he was building relationships within the building with the people that he needed to in order to get this done. I've had no doubts about Kevin Warren. If this culture is changing, it is because of him. I 100% believe that.
Now let me ask you this.
It just doesn't make like this is what it sounds like to me, guys. And this is no disrespect, but I mean it's like Kevin Warren's the one changing this. Ben Johnson's the one who controlled the offseason. So like basically what you're doing is just doing everything you can to give Ryan Poles no credit whatsoever for putting this team together.
No.
That's
Kevin
what it sounds like.
Kevin Warren.
Kevin Warren is giving Ryan Poles the leeway to do his fucking job.
Yes,
which he did not have in the
Kevin Warren is making
based on what V-Dog is saying right here. He had to keep Flus when he didn't want to. He had to go with Flus as his head coach when he didn't want to because of a search firm led by Bill Polian. Right?
Kevin Warren is making sure that everybody is accountable for what they should be, but not doing more. This is what's most important because you can say it's this person's or that person's offseason. Kevin Warren said to Ryan Poles, I'm sure at some point you fucking hired the guy. You ask him what he needs. Exactly. He tells you, you get it. That's your job. He tells you what's required. You get it. Your job is to get it. His job is to identify it. That's how the offseason played out.
And Dustin, this is why I was calling David Hall a moron this morning, because he was saying that Ben Johnson is running the Bears. He's a fucking idiot. He is not. It's exactly what Brandon just said. You don't pay this guy $20 million a fucking year and say, oh, well, guess what? I'm going to draft. I don't care what you need. No, he said, hey, I'm going to bring you here.
You need to have a good relationship. Yes.
But that does not mean
you need to work in unison.
The Bears.
There's one coach in the history of the NFL who's ran the organization, and that's Bill Belichick, and that's it. That's it. There's no other coach in the history of football.
Parcells did with the Cowboys,
who has been heavily basically picked every single player in free agency in the draft. By all accounts, Bill Belichick, and I actually listened to a whole speech about this on the radio yesterday. That's why he went to college football, because he still wanted that control, and he knew no other team in the NFL was going to give it to him. So they said, by all accounts, Bill Belichick is the only coach in NFL history for the last 10 years of his career there. He picked every free agent, every draft pick, everything. He did everything, absolutely everything. He was the general manager.
My point on this, and will continue to be, is that Ryan Poles is not the main reason Ben Johnson is here, and Ben Johnson is the reason things are happening the way they're happening. The coaching staff you guys are talking about, let me finish making my point. The coaching staff you guys are talking about, the players that have been brought in this offseason, that is all a result of Ben Johnson being here as the head coach. Now, do they need to have a good relationship, and they need to pick these players together, and Ryan Poles facilitates? Yes, but Ben Johnson did not pick the Chicago Bears because of Ryan Poles. That's my point. Ben Johnson picked the Chicago Bears because of Caleb Williams.
That's fine, and that's
Poles
fine.
drafted Caleb Williams for sure.
Yes, and Poles also called.
And Ben Johnson has the ability to make these moves.
Ben Johnson came out in an interview. He's not lying to the media. He has no reason to. He came out in an interview and said, I was on the fence about the Raiders and the Bears. I called Ryan Poles. We had a conversation. He flew me out here. We sat down, and I really, really liked the conversation. So I picked the Bears. So he is absolutely partly responsible.
Ryan Poles did what he needed to do to get him in this building.
Yeah, which is his job.
I'm not taking that credit away from him, but I'm just saying, if you were making a list of why Ben Johnson is here, I don't think Poles is at the top of that list. That's all I'm saying.
But he's also who drafted Caleb.
Well, Ben Johnson also verbally
the Bears
said,
probably don't have Caleb Williams. Can you guys agree with that? If Ryan Poles was never the Bears GM, the Bears probably don't have Caleb Williams.
Most likely because that trade that he made, and he lucked into the first round pick, the first overall pick.
Sure, but either way,
Ben Johnson was asked,
and then they lucked into the pick.
Ben Johnson was asked, did Caleb Williams help persuade you to take this job? You know what he said? Word for word, helps to have a quarterback.
Absolutely.
That was his exact answer.
The Raiders didn't.
Helps to have a quarterback.
The Raiders didn't. So
let me ask you this.
Easy fucking choice in my book if you're a play caller.
If Jaden Daniels was here, does Ben Johnson still take the job?
Probably.
If Bo Nix is here, does he still take the job?
Probably. Yeah.
If Drake May is here, does he still take the job?
Probably. If Geno Smith's here, probably not.
And who's still the GM?
Ryan Poles.
So how much did Caleb Williams really have to do with it?
It's
He
the
just wanted a quarterback.
It
didn't matter that it was Caleb Williams.
But switching him out for Jaden Daniels, who has been better than Caleb Williams up to this point, doesn't really prove that point. You need to put yourself in a position to get the franchise quarterback, whoever that is. If it's Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams,
quarterbacks. Ben Johnson wanted
whoever that franchise quarterback is. You need to put yourself in position to get him. And Poles did that 100%. Nobody's taking credit away from Poles. And I'm not upset about this extension, guys. It needed to happen. The way the Bears have done this makes sense. This should have happened. But that doesn't mean that Poles does not have blemishes on his resume. And the biggest one is that we're not winning football games since he's been the GM, guys. That's the biggest one.
Sean, every free agent and every coach, I don't know if you heard the interviews when they came in, they're like, yeah, beautiful facilities, very family like oriented kind of atmosphere. You know that Ryan Poles, did you see the interview where Ryan Poles is like, when I got here, I made them redo the entire facilities. That's the first thing I asked for. You guys need to redo the facilities like Forest. You have to do all
the facilities got knocked so hard by every NFL player that came through here.
Yeah.
So hard.
So another thing Ryan Poles is responsible for is the fact that all these players and coaches that come here, like part of the reason I came here is because look at this place. Look around you. Look at this. Look at Halas Hall. Ryan Poles is responsible for that as well. He's also responsible for that. Ryan Poles has been an integral part of everything that's happened to the Chicago Bears the last 4 years. Does he have blemishes on his? Oh, of course. Name me somebody who doesn't, and I'll give you $1 million.
Well, I mean, does he have blemishes on his record? Yeah, his fucking record.
That's why I'm saying this needs to start turning around with wins, guys. At the end of the day, this needs to work. If you're aligning yourself with these guys, then this needs to work. It looks like it will, but we don't know.
Do you think the timing has anything to do with the record? Is that fair to say? Do you think that's fair?
The timing.
The timing. So Ryan Poles got, you guys knew year one was going to suck, right? Because he had to cut every single person off this team because all the dead money, right? So we all knew they were going to suck. Everybody knew that, right?
Yes. No. There was.
We're all like, we're not judging
Ryan Poles.
We're not judging Ryan Poles for his record this year, right? We all knew that, right? And then second year they won 7 games, right? So they got a lot. They improved drastically. And then when they're like, man, we're starting to find like identity a little bit. We're starting to find out who we are.
Man, we could get a new head coach.
And then they were like, oh, wait a second. Now we have a rookie quarterback. So we got to restart the clock because rookie quarterbacks rarely come to the NFL and win 10 games. How many times does it happen? 4? In the history of football,
the rookie quarterback
happened.
And then the rookie quarterback got a new head coach. It's
a victim of circumstance. It's a victim of circumstance. Like you needed to make the quarterback move, but you knew that the odds of a rookie quarterback coming here and winning 10 games, making the playoffs, weren't very high. Like we knew.
Okay, but if we all knew that, then why was everybody picking the Bears to be a playoff team?
No. Hold on.
I'm disappointed in last year.
Here's the reality, though.
You should be. They have a lot of talent on that roster, but they didn't put an offensive line in front of your rookie quarterback, and that was the reality move by Poles, guys. It was.
Ryan Poles broke the alignment when he drafted a rookie quarterback, and he stuck with the same old lame duck fucking head coach that he had on this team to begin with. That set him back a year, Kyle. So you can say the first year's a wash, but last year is on Ryan Poles because Caleb Williams could be in a much better place today than he is now.
Because he replaced Jaden Daniels.
You guys are the same guys are saying that Keenan Allen was a waste of a 4th-round pick, but if he came up to you, if Ryan Poles came up to you, he was like, oh man, I did that so that he had a security blanket on 3rd down and I wanted to make it
didn't help
a little bit because the offensive line, but making that move had nothing to do with the offensive line. He still wanted to help Caleb Williams in some way, shape,
but he didn't make moves on the offensive line.
Back 2 years, like
he's responsible for the
offense. They just failed.
He signed a 4-year contract.
He traded
Ryan
for Ryan
Poles signed a 4-year contract. Guess what? This is year 4. We're in year 4. The contract they gave him.
They were decisions that should have been.
They were terrible decisions. Oh, here we are, the Chicago Bears in year 4, and we think they're going to be a competitive, good football team.
Nobody said that, DJ. Let me just clarify. I said the way Jaden Daniels did in Washington with a new coaching staff, with a new system, and they revamped the offensive line going into that season, guys. You could have set Caleb up for that kind of success if you had made the right moves, but you didn't. And I'm not saying that Poles shouldn't have his job because of it. What I am saying is that should be thought about and talked about because he just got a 5-year extension. That's all I'm saying. He got the extension. That happened. Poles is our GM, and it's aligned with Ben Johnson, who the coach he hired. So this makes total fucking sense. I'm not knocking Poles, but at the end of the day, there wasn't enough done to set up that rookie quarterback last year, and I don't think that that's debatable, guys. And you could have
like Carl says here, you can fill it with any name, but I mean, Jim Harbaugh was a candidate last year during their hiring process. I mean,
No,
Where
he
could
wasn't.
where
Yeah, it was
where,
last year's coaches versus this year's. I mean,
Guys, he said he was never going to the Chicago Bears. He came out and said that. Does he have to like get it tattooed on his forehead? He came out and said, I was never going to the
Okay,
Chicago
so
Bears.
because
I was
Kyle,
never going to go to the Chicago Bears.
there's nothing you can say that'll justify retaining Matt Eberflus. Nothing. You cannot speak
Unless-
any amount
unless
of
he was
words
waiting
that
for
will
Ben
make that
Johnson.
decision
Unless
validated.
he was
No,
waiting for
no.
Ben Johnson.
No,
Unless he was waiting for
no.
Ben Johnson.
if that's
No.
the way nobody made that decision that way.
Unless
Kyle.
he was waiting for Ben Johnson.
Nobody made that decision that way.
So
They
no.
expected to
Even
win
if you're waiting
football
for
games.
Ben Johnson, you fire Matt Eberflus.
So you
I don't
hire
care
a new
what you're
coach
waiting
and you
for.
fire that new coach after 1 year and go hire Ben Johnson?
Sure. Yeah, they fired him anyways, Kyle.
I
He
mean, I
got
don't-
fired.
I don't think
He
that's
got
good
fired
for-
in the middle of the season. They had 3 head coaches over the course of the
Yeah,
season.
but guys were already on the roster, Brian. They didn't.
Sean,
they
answer
didn't
that
come
question
outside
from
the building.
James Christo. Answer that question from James Christo. I got it right here. There you
Which
go.
one?
Why
Why
did
did
we
he-
fire Pace and hire Poles? Because Pace was god awful. Pace was right.
terrible.
I mean, look at some of his
Pace was
picks.
not
Look at the
good.
trades he made
This
and
is
giving
the
up
worst-
draft
the
capital.
worst GM the Chicago Bears have ever had in my
I know.
opinion.
They should
In
never
my
have
lifetime.
extended
In my
Pace.
lifetime. I'm in my
Yeah.
lifetime.
You're
In my
all good,
lifetime.
Carl. We love you, bro.
He is the worst GM. Yeah, I don't
Here,
know what he
I'll
says I'm
say
lying
this,
about.
guys.
I think he
Let's
thinks
get
I'm
this
talking
out.
about Jim Harbaugh. If Ty wants to send me his like personal information, I can send him the interview. But whatever.
Let's just set this here and ask you guys. Finally, we get to see Ryan Pohl.
Did Ryan Pace Did Ryan Pace fire Lovie Smith?
No.
No,
That was Jerry Angelo.
Jerry Angelo.
Yeah, and then Emery came in after that. But Sean, you were about to make a point.
Yeah, so for the first time, we get to see Poles' vision. He got his head coach, modern day offense, with Ben Johnson. He's got his quarterback and Caleb Williams. He's got his wide receivers with legitimate talent. You talk DJ Moore, Burden, Dunze, Kokomet, Colson Loveland. Your defense, well, you got Dennis Allen to prop this defense up, make it better. He's assembled, Jalen
Coaching staff
Johnson
is
on
very
this side.
encouraging.
Deep secondary, that's very strong. The roster's young, it's dynamic. It's no longer time for the rebuilding excuses. The cap is in good position here. It's time to compete. It's time to
Time
win.
for the rubber to hit the fucking
We're
road
cellar
here.
dwellers. We're
Yeah.
no longer cellar. We should no longer be cellar dwellers.
And if we
should
are,
be
then
the
that's a
team
problem.
this year. Right. So my only problem, and I'll say this with Ryan Poles, is I know you have to keep this alignment with GM and head coach, but the Bears haven't practiced that anyway, so I don't see why it matters so much right now. I would wait to see how this turned out this year before I extended him. V-Dog, yes, I am saying it. I would have waited one more year because of his talent evaluation, his team.
Darius, what up, bro?
So Sean, let me ask you: if you fired Ryan Poles after this year, so say the Bears win 8 games this year, and the Bears are like, we're not satisfied with that, we're gonna fire Ryan Poles, and you bring a new GM in, you're bringing a new GM in and telling him you don't get to pick your coach, you get Ben Johnson whether you like it or not.
Well, if Ben Johnson,
I might have Ben.
That is what the Bears have done wrong for the last 20 years.
And I get that, and I get that point, Kyle. But at the same time, we all just said we're not sure that we would have extended Poles.
Well, I told you guys
Based on what he's done.
Second when they decided in their meeting between Kevin Warren and George McCaskey, we are going to let Ryan Poles do the coaching. He's going to pick the next head coach, whether it be Ben Johnson,
Sure.
Mike Vrabel.
Well,
We
then
don't
you
give a
know.
shit.
You know
That was when they knew. They're like, then we are extending Ryan Poles.
100%.
We are extending Ryan Poles.
As they
That's what
should.
knew.
In that
The
situation.
conversation was over. They forgave him for everything they thought he did wrong.
I think
in the
Ben
past,
Johnson
and that was the
wanted
moment
Ryan
they're like,
Poles
Ryan
extended.
Poles is staying here.
Which had some influence by Ben Johnson too. I think Ben Johnson wanted Ryan Poles extended.
I mean, if Ben Johnson looked at Ryan Poles and thought he was a guy he could work with and get the players that he wants on his team to run his offense, then that makes total sense, guys.
Bears fans love this coaching staff, right? I've never heard nothing, but I've never heard anybody negative about this coaching staff ever. The Bears fans who destroyed Ryan Poles, they're like, you drafted a punter in the 4th round. What a reach, right? And then the Bears were like, you know what? Ryan Poles is like, you know what? I'm going to give this coaching staff more than you. They're going to pick their players. And then we selected Ruben Hippolyte in the 4th round, who by all accounts was supposed to be an undrafted free agent. And it's like, yeah, but this coaching staff, maybe he's good. We don't know. That was a good pick because the coaches are awesome. We love them.
Yeah,
but Ryan Poles, you suck. Like it's you can't have your cake. It's one or the other. So like if Ryan Poles gets criticized for drafting a punter in the 4th round, then so does Dennis Allen for taking a guy who was projected to be an undrafted free agent. Right?
Yeah, no, of course. And if it works out, that's great. That's what's best for everybody. And listen, Carl, I'm not going to go out of my way to say it in such a way as you're saying it. But I do believe that this offseason has Ben Johnson's fingerprints all over it. And I think that that's going to produce success. The sky's not falling, DJ Profit. I am very positive about this Bears season, and that gives me a little bit of a negative feeling because whenever I'm positive about a Bears season, I end up getting kicked in the nuts, right? But this team looks better than it has, and this looks to me to be the best offseason that they've had in years, from my perspective. And I think that is because Ben Johnson's fingerprints are all over it. And if Poles and Johnson work together, and Johnson's able to get the players that he needs here and hire his coaching staff, and Poles stays the fuck out of his way and just gets him what he needs, that could be a very good relationship. But I just think the guy who's going to ultimately be in charge of those personnel decisions is Ben Johnson, and I don't know why you wouldn't want him to be. So,
well, I mean, define personnel decision.
Like, these are the players I want on my fucking football team.
Like,
I want that receiver. I want this offensive line.
Maybe he's going to
Ryan. How do we get them polls? How do you maneuver the cap?
Where I get my guy. I need this type of receiver on the Chicago Bears, and Ryan Poles picks which one. Like, maybe he's like, I need a slot.
No, I don't think
who's
so.
Capable of being a football player in the NFL, and he's like, all right, I'll get you Zacchaeus. There's a real strong possibility that's the conversation.
And Johnson was like, draft Luther Burden, and then Luther Burden got drafted.
He's like, I'm gonna get you both.
Yeah,
I'll get you Zacchaeus, and then I'll draft, and then you can draft Luther Burden, and we'll see which one. If Luther
so
Burden
it's important to you that Poles is the one making those decisions, not Ben Johnson.
I think that they should make them in unison. Why would they not?
Oh, of course they should. But if you're going to lean on
I'm not going
to change the culture of a team that's been doing shit ass backwards for years, why would you not want to lean on Ben Johnson to be the guy that makes those decisions?
I'm not leaning on Ben Johnson. What I'm saying is I will never say this team is the position they're in because of Ben Johnson, or this team is position all because of Ryan Poles. I think the marriage between them is very important, and the two of them combined are what's going to make this team successful. That's what I think.
Like, for sure. I think the hierarchy is going to be Ben Johnson on top. That's just how
you have to ask
Ryan Poles.
Yeah, you have to ask you have to.
I don't think that's a good run organization. If the coach is the GM's boss, that's not a good run.
How much influence did Matt Eberflus? How much influence did Matt Eberflus have over the drafts during the Ryan Poles Matt Eberflus tenure?
That's a really good question.
No, well, that's another thing. We're
not very much. I think.
Have no idea what's the situation. We have no idea.
Hiring a guy like Ben Johnson and giving him the power to influence your draft.
Nice comment, Dennis.
Asking him what it is that he needs to run his scheme. I'm gonna like I said, man. What do you need? It's my job to get it. What do you need? I'll get it. I don't think that they had the same respect with Matt Eberflus. I think Ryan Poles told Matt Eberflus, "I'm gonna get it, and you do with it what you can."
That's the alignment we're talking about. Then,
it's changed. It's changed, and Ben Johnson has some pull. But he absolutely fucking needs to. That's
really
the only way it works.
Poles needs that. He does. He needs a head coach he can rely on for these personnel
with
decisions.
direction.
Yes,
who can help paint the picture.
Has Space Time been in here before?
No, I've never seen Space Time. I was about to point him out. It's
welcome
Poles
to the show,
Ben
Space Time.
What's up, Space Time? Space Time.
Hit that like button, brother, and make sure you subscribe because we have a lot of fun here. We do this every week. For the win.
And it's only going to get better.
Listen, this is a lot of fun. And I don't think that if Poles is on the top or if Ben Johnson's on the top, Kyle, to your point, I don't think it matters because if they're making those decisions together and it's producing winning, then that's all that matters to me.
Yeah,
that's a good relationship that produces winning. That's all that matters.
That's why you guys see me come on here so much and defend Ryan Poles, because at the end of the day, I'm a Chicago Bears fan. I have been for my entire life. I have the tattooed on the back of my leg. I've watched every game since I was 11 years old. I am going to make sure. I think this team is going to win a Super Bowl with Caleb Williams. I do.
Well said,
I believe
DJ
in
Prophet.
Ben Johnson.
Well said.
So why would I sit here? Why would I sit here? Like, I know a lot of, I'm not talking about you guys, but a lot of Bears fans shit all over Ryan Poles. Why would I sit here enjoying that conversation when I'm telling you out of my own, with the same breath, I think Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson are going to win a Super Bowl, and Ryan Poles is responsible for getting both of them in Chicago. So why would I sit here and
he did his job in that regard?
Yeah,
100%.
Like, I don't care how he did it. I don't care if there was ups and downs, and it's things here they did wrong and things here he did right. As long as they win a Super Bowl, and as a fan, that's all I should be worried about, because I don't make money off the Bears.
It's not the road you take.
You wasted money on Nate Davis. As long as exactly. As long as at the end of the day they win a Super Bowl. If Ryan Poles can do that, he'll be the first GM who's done that since 1985.
Hey, Kyle, and I could be in total agreement with you when you say that, because I am, but also point out the fact that these were flaws in judgment that set us back further than we needed to be to get to that destination. So he's learning on the job. He's a young GM. Yeah. Hopefully he's getting it figured out, and it's going to result in winning. It looks like it could and should with the coaching staff and players that they've added to this roster. But at the end of the day, in the NFL, you got to be judged on winning, and Chicago Bears fans deserve a winning fucking football team. Yeah. That's where I fall. I think, and if you don't give it, then you got to give it up
this year. If Ryan Poles doesn't do it, you have to go back. If Ryan Poles doesn't do it, we'll be having a conversation about Caleb Williams at the end of the year as well. But the way I sit right now, the way I see it is, as a Bears fan, all I want is a Super Bowl. Like, I would even take the Trent Dilfer Super Bowl with the Ravens, where they're like, "We have the worst quarterback in the NFL." But if you win a Super Bowl, who gives a shit? Who cares? It doesn't matter, because that's why we watch the game of football.
But you have to concern yourself.
If he does that.
Then he did his job.
He is my favorite Bears GM of my life.
You have to concern yourself, because you talk about Bill Belichick, man, who was sustaining success at the organization in which he was hired, and then you have a guy like Howie Roseman, who's been to 2 Super Bowls with 2 different coaching staffs. I don't know that Ryan Poles. If Ben Johnson takes his team to a Super Bowl, it's Ben Johnson's fucking Super Bowl. Because if Ben Johnson walks away after he wins the Super Bowl, he says, "I'm done, I'm retired." I don't know that Ryan Poles is going to hire the next guy that takes to a Super Bowl again.
But Poles has to get his credit in that too.
Of course. This is the same conversation. But I'm not giving Poles any credit.
GMs have to be able to sustain success when things don't work out.
And part of that is that alignment with that head coach with the Bears, which is what the Bears gave us.
And a part of that is building a roster. Part of that is building a roster that's. A part of that is building a roster that's capable of winning no matter who's leading.
100%. And listen, this comment from DJ Profit is so well put. I just want to read it real quick, guys.
Yeah, he's killing it tonight.
He used them as learning opportunities. His mistakes, Poles' mistakes is what he's referring to. He has been very contrite about his shortcomings. The man is a better GM today because of what he has endured. I completely agree with you. And you could not have said it better. And he's also a better GM today because Ben Johnson is the guy he has in his ear.
Here's the question, though. Here's for the impatient Bears fans out there. I mean, just at some point,
it's kind of warranted.
You got to use common sense, right? At some point, you got to use common sense. So, like, if the Chicago Bears announced to Bears fans 4 years ago, guys, we're going to hire a first-time 35-year-old GM. We're going to hire a first-time 35-year-old GM. How could anybody in the world on the planet not think to themselves, I bet you this guy is going to be better in year 4 than he is in year 1, doing something for the first time he's ever done it in his entire life? How could you? I mean, everybody in the world who does something for 4 years is better in year 4 than they were year 1. So when the Bears hired a 35-year-old first-time GM, patience is a virtue was probably what they were preaching to the fans.
Yeah, you were expecting some growing pains, especially with that roster and the cap.
Yes, there's going to be some.
Hold on, DJ Profit, give me some credit. He says that this is a wild hypothetical that Ben Johnson stepping away after winning, but this is all hypothetical because you guys can sit here. We'd say Ryan Poles did this, that, and the other. If they come out and they fucking suck next year,
we haven't seen.
We're all going to say Ryan Poles sucks. Because the hypothetical right now is they're a good football team and he's made the right decisions, but we don't know. Fucking seen it.
We haven't seen it
happened.
That's true.
So if it comes out and they fall flat on their face, the hypothetical becomes a reality that they suck. Then
the people in this chat that are saying these things,
then you got to talk about Kevin Warren too, because he decided to keep Ryan Poles to let him do the coaching search. Then they all become like, all right, that's the goal.
The one thing I disagree with you, Kyle. Ben Johnson stays. If all those other guys could go in this wild hypothetical,
and Ryan Poles sucks.
Ben Johnson stays. Yeah, that's for sure. Sean, what do you think? You're being quiet, bro. Where are you at?
I'm just sucking it all in. I
sucking it all in.
I just said, look, man, and I feel this way. The time is now. We've watched the rebuild, as I just said a few minutes ago. If he doesn't get it done, guess what? He's here for 4 more years. It doesn't matter what the Bears do. He's not going anywhere. Nope. Ben Johnson's here. He's here. So they
Ryan Poles is not going to get fired next year.
But all I'm saying is, if Ryan Poles were to go, I don't think that means Ben. You said that
Ryan Poles won't be fired because when you hire a rookie head coach,
but I don't think
yourself another year.
Should align it.
You bought yourself another year with a rookie head coach. That's for sure. You don't fire a GM if a rookie head coach has a bad first season. That's not going to happen.
You're not going to like to hear this, and I know
because then you're just getting ahead of yourself all over.
But you do now. I'm not talking about like this much or this much. This much. You have to consider also the fact that the Chicago Bears have the #1 hardest schedule in the NFL. That's not fair to Ben Johnson.
Big
Not fair
part
to
of it.
Caleb Williams. It's not fair to the rest of the team to be like, you need to win 12 games.
All
or
I
you
need,
suck.
all I need out of the
That's
Chicago
tough.
Bears is to
It's
be
hard. It's going to be
competitive.
hard this season, Kyle.
No,
That's
be a
very true.
competitive football team and play
Yeah.
with confidence.
Yes, look
That's
better.
all I need to see.
Look better.
If
Competence
timeouts.
and confidence. Yes.
Call
If you
timeouts.
fail because the schedule is tough and the teams are just better, but you competed with those teams, I can accept that. What I can't accept is what happened in San Francisco at the end of the season.
Yes,
when
I
they
agree,
just
Sean.
stopped
I
the
agree.
bubble.
Or Arizona. Or Arizona.
Or
at
Arizona,
end
or
of
the
Or
Patriots.
New England. New
Yeah,
England.
like-
Or New England. Or at the end of the
That's-
Detroit game. The
that's-
last quarter of the Detroit game. You can't do with that shit either. Like,
No,
hey,
yeah.
you-
That's
you-
not
you call
acceptable.
timeout.
There's ways to judge everything without wins.
I agree,
is all
Sean.
I'm trying to say.
I agree. If they win 7
That's what I'm
wins,
looking at this season, guys.
That's-
I am not
and-
looking at
and-
wins and losses. I
and if
don't.
you're-
You go here. Look, we all think Baltimore Ravens have a chance to win the Super Bowl this year. They're one of all of our favorites. Would I be mistaken in saying that, or
Oh
no?
yeah, they
Correct.
definitely have a chance.
Okay.
They're in the
If
conversation.
the Bears go into, what do they play them, like week 9,
Week
something
8 or
like that?
9.
Yeah, whenever they play them, if they go in there and they lose that game 31-27, I'm
And
gonna
they
walk
play
on
their
Monday
asses
with a
off.
fucking smile
Yeah.
on my face.
That's gonna feel like a victory Monday for sure. And then they're gonna
Exactly.
turn around and play the Bengals. And if they play them tight and still lose, I will still be proud of them
Right.
for
Well,
playing against a really
absolutely.
good team.
What,
But
and
like as Kyle said, this schedule is a gauntlet, man. So
Mhm.
like I do not expect the Bears to be a playoff team just on the strength of that schedule. I do expect to see what Sean is talking about. Improvement week
Yeah,
to
me
week.
too.
The
Me too.
team competing
Oh.
consistently with the best teams in the NFL
And-
while
and-
they're figuring this shit out with
Well,
Caleb
and
Williams and Ben Johnson.
getting
And-
better week to week.
and-
Getting better.
and
week to
then
week.
the thing that matters most to I think everybody who's watching this and everybody who's talking about, like, Caleb Williams has got to be the franchise quarterback that you
gotta be him.
drafted him to be. That has to happen, and that needs to start happening this
Darius,
season.
good point.
Regardless of whether or not you're winning football games, if Caleb Williams busts, guys,
That is a good
Ryan
point,
Poles
Darius.
is done.
That
he's
was an
done.
easy schedule. It was.
If Caleb
Bears
Williams
made it look
busts,
hard.
if Caleb Williams is a bust, Ryan Poles' tenure is over, and he will not
Here,
be.
I'm going to give you a comparison of what I expect of Caleb Williams. There were people who called PCA a bust last year because he fucking didn't live up to the hype. All of a sudden, he came out this year and he's lights out. I expect to see some of that with Caleb Williams this year. I think the light's going to turn
You
on.
need to. You need to.
I'm pretty
I mean,
confident in that. I'm
And
pretty
Vernon, you're
confident.
right. Ultimately, Ryan Poles will be fired if Caleb Williams is bust, but you can't be like Ryan Poles is an idiot if Caleb Williams is bust because
No,
Everyone
31
wanted
teams,
Caleb
31
Williams.
teams in the NFL
but you're,
would
no,
have
but you're
drafted Caleb
talking.
Williams.
No, but
so-
Kyle, you were talking about the separation of powers. Ben Johnson won't be fired on the failures of Caleb Williams. Ryan Poles will.
Yeah,
think
Ben
they're
Johnson will
both
get
players.
another shot at another quarterback. That is
Probably.
for sure. Can I point out that the chat is like the
On
chat's
fire?
killing it. The chat's on fire, but it doesn't.
You guys are the
It feels
best.
like we're finding ways to disagree. The chat is now finding ways to disagree about everything that we say as well, not just us. Which
I
they're
love
starting to pick up. They're starting to pick up on the vibes from 4-star Chicago sports. Like they're coming at us for everything we're saying. Keep it coming, guys. Hold us accountable. We don't hold polls accountable. Hold us accountable, guys.
Look
Come
who
on.
just checked in. Melon Smashers here. to
Hey,
crash
he'll hold
the
us
party.
accountable.
Oh, look, he's saying something positive. I'm just kidding.
Shit just got real.
You know, you really are just a negative
Hold on.
person. Hey,
Who's Dwayne?
Dwayne Garrett.
Dwayne Garrett?
Dwayne Garrett.
Hey, Dwayne, what up, brother? Thanks for joining us. Hit that like button. Make
Or
sure you're
Dwayne? I don't know.
We
I
do
don't
this
know. How
every
do you-
week.
How do you
Dwayne.
say your name, man?
Give it in. It's coming.
Is it Duan?
It's not Dwan.
We all said we would have loved
Interesting.
Kenneth Grant at 10. We all said it. Everybody in this podcast said they would have loved Kenneth Grant at pick number 10. That we would have had no problem if the Chicago Bears selected.
I mean, there's a lot I would have liked at 10.
If I was going to go
There's
defensive
John
line
Campbell.
at 10,
John
Campbell
Campbell would have been my number one.
Would have been awesome.
Mikel Williams would have been
Yeah, I told
somebody
you
I
guys
would have
this
been
last
happy
week.
with
It's
at
a
10.
high
There's
James,
a lot
lot
of
of
guys.
James Christo just keeps hitting the fraud button. He's got a
You
fraud button.
Bang, bang, bang.
I said it's pronounced Dwayne.
Dwayne, yes.
Dwayne.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thanks for joining the show, man. We appreciate it.
Hey,
Yeah.
and James,
Much
James,
love, man.
even
Thanks
this
for jumping
guy
in.
who's been
Subscribe,
the hardest
bro.
probably on this panel on Ryan Poles can knock out that first season. You knew that first season we were going to struggle. Kyle, you were with me. I'm like, fuck,
Melon
dude.
Smashers
I
in here
hope
to
we win
toss it
2
up.
games this year. I mean,
I'm like, I hope the Bears win one game and get the first pick of the draft. That's what I wanted. I wanted them to not compete the year that they signed N'Keal Harry, Equanimous St. Brown, Nibsa Webster. Yeah, that I was like, I hope the Bears suck badly and get an actual receiver in the building. Like that's what their goal should have been the year that they had the worst roster I have ever seen in the history of the National Football.
Can I make this point, guys, on this conversation?
Hold on, really quick. Ron, I'll talk to these guys. Maybe we'll do a preseason show somewhere. Why not?
We can try to work that out. We can try to
see
work
what
that
we can do.
This is the point I want to make when it comes to this Ryan Poles conversation. It is a nuanced conversation. We don't have to be all on one side or all on the other. Same thing with our politics and day-to-day lives. Like there's a place in the middle where we can meet and we can really say, like, hey, he's done these things that have set us up for success, but now it's his job to get us over the top.
Yes.
And that actually that means translating what you've done in the offseason to doing it in the regular season and winning football games.
Yeah.
So it's not just one side or the other. And just because you're on this side with Ryan Poles, Melon Smasher, and you're on this side with Ryan Poles, DJ Profit, doesn't mean that both of you can't be right. There is a middle ground here. And at the end of the day, Bears fans just want to see a team that wins football games consistently and is competitive week in and week out and has competence, guys. Like that's really what it comes down to. And Poles has not delivered on that. Whether or not you give him grace because he took over in this situation and then he dealt with this and he dealt with that, at the end of the day, it's a results-driven business. Bears fans need to see results. We do need to hold people accountable for that because they get paid handsomely to get those results, guys. That's just the reality.
I mean, to be honest with you guys, I if you would ask me last year, like based off of the 7-win season prior, getting rid of Justin Fields and bringing in Caleb Williams, I think the Bears should have won 7 games with their roster that they had, and they could have. They were in they had 7 one-loss games last year. They probably should have won 7. So obviously retaining Matt Eberflus was a huge mistake, but that's the way the Bears looked last year when they were very excluding those games we talked about, San Francisco, New England, the games that they were competitive, the Lions, the Vikings when they went to overtime.
DJ, that's not 3, that's 6 though.
That's what I expected the Bears to look like with the rookie quarterback, right? Can't you say it's fair to say that that's what you expected the Bears to look like with a rookie quarterback? Like you expect them to be in overtime games and competing but losing, heartbreakers. That's what I expected. That is 100% what I expected. No doubt about it.
I'm pretty sure we all picked the Bears to be a playoff team, Kyle. We go back and look at our division.
I picked the most losses out of everybody. I know
but you picked them to be a playoff team. You did. We all did.
Verge.
No, they were a playoff. We picked playoff teams, and you had them as your 7th.
We're going to do this one more time before the season
Verge. We could have gone 50 different ways.
Of course,
I said if the ball bounces, I actually
I'm saying is that we had high hopes for that team
in the schedule projection. I said they're going to lose to the Cardinals. People were like,
Monangai ran
the Cardinals.
Monangai ran a faster 40 than David Montgomery.
Yeah.
That's really close, though, wasn't it?
That's
4.6, 3.
Yeah, 4.6. Like
you'd be amazed at how many running backs you look at, and you look at their 40 times, and they're 4.5, 4.6, and they just don't. They look a lot faster on the football field. That's why
not that guy. Monangai is not that guy.
In Dustin's famous words, I don't put too much stock in the underwear Olympics.
No, I don't. Really don't. But when you watch Monangai's tape, he has no breakaway speed.
I don't think Monangai is a breakaway guy at all. I think
what he's here for, guys. Yeah. Erica says, John S., I'm asking because some people think Jaden is better than Mahomes. I don't know what people you're talking about, Erica.
Yeah,
they just don't know football.
No, that's not
Mahomes is probably right behind Tom Brady already.
Yeah,
already. As great as
Dante thinks we're winning the division. Wild cards are coming from the West. I think the NFC North.
Dante, I hope you're right.
I think the NFC North is going to have at least one wild card, maybe 2. The NFC North is one of the best divisions in football.
Dante, I would agree with Dante. I could see that happening if the Bears didn't have the schedule they have.
Melon Smasher. I've been watching all
the NFC North teams have a very tough schedule. All of them.
I've been watching Caleb since his start in Oklahoma. Since he replaced Spencer Rattler. He's a very talented player. You can't deny it. He does things a lot of quarterbacks.
When it all comes down to it, and when I say last year was a low point, I've been a Bears fan. I'm 47 years old, guys. I've been a Bears fan a long time. I've seen a lot, been through a lot.
No, B-Dog, 2029. They're lined up to 2029. They took the 2 years off.
Literally the biggest down point of my
they
life.
restructured 2 years.
They didn't add to the 2 years that he had left and put 5 on top of that. It's 2029. It's when Poles and Ben Johnson are.
This is
sorry,
the most
sorry,
exciting.
Sean. I just saw that comment. Please
No,
go back to what you were saying.
No, I was just saying it. Last year was an ultimate low point for me as a Bears fan. That Washington game,
That was the
game.
ultimate kick in the nuts. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I've been through a lot. Even Mel Tucker's defense that couldn't stop a nosebleed wasn't as disappointing as what we watched last year.
Yeah, but that's
And just
based off
Because we had
expectations.
expectations.
Like,
Yes,
I would take the Bears last year Bears over
listen,
Mel Tucker's Bears.
Even
Mel Tucker
bad
was too
football
busy. He was
teams
too
aren't that
distracted by
incompetent. What
other
happened
things.
with the effort on the field? I'm sorry, that was a really bad Patriots team.
They quit.
shouldn't have been able to handle you at home.
They quit. The Bears.
They quit.
Yeah, Sean, I agree with you. That is one of the most disappointed I've been as Bears fans. And guess what? This is the most excited I've been as a Chicago Bears
I'm
fan
with
since
you.
2005.
And here, I hate to say this to
Probably the
people.
most excited
I hate
I've
to
been
say
as a
this to
Bears fan.
people, but there's been a lot of teams, and I'm not saying because of this schedule that it's going to happen to the Bears. I'm just saying it's not in the realm of possibility, because I think it was 2 years ago the Houston Texans were picked to have 3 wins and went to the second round of the playoffs. Last year, the Redskins were picked to have 5 wins, and where'd they end up? In the NFC Championship
Go
game.
Skins.
I'm not saying
Sean is never going to say commit. He will
No,
never
listen. If we do
he's
that
never
Monday
gonna say
night
it.
game, we're advertising it as Bears
I think
versus Redskins.
Sean's making a
We are
point now
not
to say
putting
Redskins.
Commanders on
He's
the-
not. He's
No.
making a point
Kyle,
now. He's
Kyle,
Commanders will
saying
not
commit.
be on the thumbnail or the poster.
Check
It
this
will
out.
say Redskins. That's
Check
just
this
the
out.
way
Hey,
it
Sean.
still-
hey,
I
Sean.
still
Who did
call
the
it
Cubs
Comiskey
beat in the
Park.
World Series?
The Indians. Listen, the Indians are my second favorite baseball team, dude. I'll never call them the Guardians, dude. That's just stupid.
It's just
What did you
ridiculous.
see that petition that's going on right now? It is signed by
To bring
like
to bring
tens
it
of
back?
millions of people to bring back the Redskins, man.
Sean,
Tens of
it's not
millions?
just
Is
it's
it
not-
millions?
It's hundreds
I
of
don't know about
thousands,
that.
but you
Yeah.
know what's more important than the number of people that have signed it? Everybody who signed it is a Native American.
Yeah, the Native
Yes.
Americans.
That's what's important.
Yes, yes.
They want that was their team.
Yeah.
That was their team. The NFL took it away from them. They want it back. They want
Broski,
it
what's
back.
up, dude? Yeah, I'll tell you this. I'll just say this. Anything is
Broski.
possible in the NFL. The Jordan Love could miss the entire season. JJ McCarthy could suck. Jared Goff and the Lions could take a step back after all the changes, and the Bears could skyrocket. You never know what's going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to, but it is the NFL, and you play the games for a reason. You know, when the Bears are playing this tough schedule, maybe Lamar Jackson sprained his ankle. He can't play that week. You know, maybe you just catch breaks like that all the way down the schedule and you win those games. You never know what's going to happen.
Then you're a first round
You never
knockout.
Or maybe you're ahead of schedule and
Right.
Ben Johnson's got this
Hey,
team
guys.
on where he needs it to be. Maybe they're just better than people think, even us, even those who think they're a playoff team.
Maybe Caleb
Maybe
is
they're
much
just
better under
better than
center
that.
than we all thought he was. Maybe
Correct.
he's comfortable there and he looks better there. You never know.
How do we button this up with the Ryan Poles conversation? We talked an hour about this
Here.
Ryan Poles
I'll
extension and
button it
where
up
we were
by
at
saying
with it.
we've watched the rebuild. It's time to put it to bed. It's time to start winning. It's time to start showing your real football, and you're back in the NFL as the charter franchise of this goddamn league.
Third
Enough of
biggest
this
market in
bullshit.
the fucking country. We
let's go.
We deserve better. We deserve
Let's
better.
go.
That's what it boils down to at the end of the day. So
Let's
Ryan
go.
Poles, congratulations on your extension. Now let's get it done. That's all it comes down to.
My button is this: if it required Kevin Warren to make sure that George McCaskey wasn't reaching his hands in everybody's pockets and letting him do the job that he hired him to do, if that's what it takes to win some football games, guys, if Ryan Poles needs to do the same thing and let Ben
Sit or get off
Johnson
the pot.
and let Ben Johnson do his job. You know what I mean? Like if McCaskey, if this team's made improvements in their culture because McCaskey's doing things differently and
Takes
not
his hands off. Took his hands off.
micromanaging,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
micromanaging, why wouldn't
Let
you find
that trickle
success?
down.
Why wouldn't
Yeah.
you find success if Ryan Poles does the same thing with Ben Johnson?
Let
Hey,
that
man,
trickle on
Hey,
down
man,
through the franchise.
it's not even
yes.
I'm your fucking boss. You come to me. It's hey man, if you need something, come at me.
I'm here to
let me know.
support you.
Give me a
I'm here to
call.
support you.
I'll figure it out.
You guys,
Other
we'll
than
figure it
that,
out.
do your fucking
I-
thing because I
I
hired
think-
you to win football games.
I think
That's it.
I think it's fair to say, I don't know about the team in a minute for this, but I think it's fair to say that when Kevin Warren got here, he was like, this is ridiculous. Like, you guys hired this GM, you basically hired Bill Polian to give him a coach. Like, this is not how this works. And I think that Kevin Warren replacing Ted Phillips is the most important thing that happened to the Chicago Bears in the history of the Chicago Bears. I think Kevin Warren got here and was like, there needs to you need to have this alignment. Like if you trust Ryan Poles to be your general manager, then you got to trust him to go pick his own coach. You got to trust it.
And you trusted him to do that. You have to trust him.
And then Ryan Poles is like, hey, if I'm going to pick this coach, I'm going to trust him to go get his guys and implement his scheme and do whatever. That's why you're hiring these guys, because you think
that's what good franchises do, Kyle. That's what you were talking about more so than anything, and what Brandon just said, right? You hire the guys to do the job. Let them do their fucking job. Don't stick your fingers in it and tell Ryan Poles you're choosing between Dan Quinn and Matt Eberflus. Go pick your guy, and you got the money to get him. And that's
it's so simple if you think about it, that any industry and any facet of life, when you work for somebody and they just say to you, hey man, what tools do you need to be successful? And I will provide them for you. If you have faith in yourself, like Ben Johnson does, you're going to do the job right. As long as the things that you require in order to succeed are provided to you, that's all Ryan Poles is responsible for now, guys. That's it. I can get you what you need. Because when Ben Johnson came here to visit with Ryan Poles to get sold on this, Ryan Poles probably had a conversation where he said to Ben Johnson, listen, man, this is your scheme. It's your football team now. You run it. You just tell me what you need, and I will do my damnedest to find it for you.
I think Kevin Warren is a barrier, a wall
between
McCaskey and Ryan Poles. And I don't think Ted Phillips was ever willing to become that guy. And that's why the Bears are starting to look like they look like.
That's what changed the culture.
Organization.
100%.
They look like they know what they're doing a little bit here. And I think it's Kevin Warren being like, hey, George, just go up to your office, sit down and shut up. We got this.
Write the checks. Let us do our jobs.
Go sign the checks and shut up.
I'll give you guys one team, one name, 1 year. Sean McVay, 2017. Go look at the roster. Not that impressive. Jared Goff's your quarterback. I think
we don't have to look that far, Sean. I mean, the Commanders are in the same. The Commanders roster was not impressive last year.
Well, the Commanders, but Sean McVay's actually shown consistency, and I compare Sean McVay a lot more to Ben Johnson.
Look at the disarray that Dustin pointed this out early on. Look at the disarray that fucking Chargers team was in. They were the most expensive team in football.
You're right, and they hired
a playoff team in 1 year with a new coach.
In a hard division. In a really tough division with the Chiefs, with the Broncos. So, I mean, even in a hard division, even in a tough division like the Bears are, things can happen. But the guy who you like, Jim Harbaugh, turned that shit around, guys. That's Ben Johnson's got to do it now. Ryan Poles gave him what he needs. He's got to do it now. He's got to do it now.
I agree, Brandon. There's a few holes in this roster that worry me, but I think
too much agreeing going on right now, guys. I'm getting nervous.
Yeah, fuck you, Kyle.
Scare the shit out of me.
But with no left tackle that might bite him in the ass. Like there's certain things that the Bears. But it's at the end of the day, you guys are right. I mean, if the Bears are just a really good football team with the talent they've put here, Ryan Poles put here, whoever you want to say, and they're just better than the team across the field from them. It doesn't matter what year they're in the rebuild or how long Ben Johnson's been here. It doesn't matter.
No, those things don't dictate.
If they're like the Commanders, where Caleb Williams just finds a way to win a game every single week, then they're going to be a playoff team. Yeah, 100%. They're going.
And you know what, Kyle? When Caleb Williams was presented with those situations, I thought he did a damn good job. When Caleb Williams had to put the team in position to win a football game,
he did it.
I thought he did well.
Pretty sure
which is why Melon Smasher, please take that into account when you say that Caleb Williams sucks. How many quarterbacks in Chicago have been given the ball in the fourth quarter with a game-winning drive and gotten the Bears where they need to be to win a football game? It doesn't happen very often.
I mean, dude, you guys as Bears fans,
we watched it happen multiple times last year.
We knew they weren't going to win.
Should have won the Commanders game. Should have won the Green Bay game.
Jesus Christ, guys.
In the past, we knew they weren't going to win the game. When the Bears were down by a touchdown with 2 minutes left, I'm like, well, this game's over, guys. Turn off the TV. Like now,
the Bears were going to kick a field goal against the Packers. I was like, well, this one's over.
Bruce, Kyle Shanahan did not have a winning record his first season with the Niners. I think they won 5 or 6 games. It was growing pains at first, and you do need to have patience with new head coaches and new rosters and all these things. So I think we just need to be looking for that improvement week to week, and I think we need to be looking for the fact that they are disciplined and they are staying in games because of that discipline. That's really because Ben Johnson has been preaching competition and discipline. If those two things do not show on the football field, then something is getting lost in translation.
Then the leader of men comes back into question.
That's concerning. That's all I'll say. So I think you'll see those things, though. I got to say that. I think Ben Johnson is laying the groundwork for this team to turn it around, the culture to shift, and I'm excited for it. I am. I think you will see those things on a week-to-week basis from this team, guys. I think you
All right,
will.
guys, let's shift over to
Let's shout out the chat real quick, guys. Melon Smasher, James Christo.
Shout out.
Well, I'm gonna let you do that. That's the next thing. V Dog, Vizzo Joe, Breaking News Bruce, Erica, Dante Purify. You got Ron, John S. We got Dwayne Garrett, Daniel Jeffries, Broski Bear. The chat is on fire tonight. Dennis Moody. I'm probably missing somebody, but make sure everybody in here hits that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Share it with a friend because we have a lot of fun. Sean, what do you got, bud? Thank you guys for being here.
Really quick,
Thanks,
the
guys.
home
Much
run
love.
derby is awesome, dude. Brett Roker is just ripping fucking 400-foot bombs, dude. I love it. But nonetheless,
The
guys,
home run derby became a pile of shit, honestly. But okay,
I just like seeing the long ball.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel the
here we
same
go.
as it did.
all right.
Disagreement on the home run derby. Fire it up.
No, but really quick, we've been doing this. Our year anniversary is coming up here in about a month. It's about 6 weeks away, guys, which is really awesome.
Yeah, first week of the season or something like that is when we started.
I think it was. I think our first show was like August 17th or August 27th or something like that. So it's coming up right around the corner, and over the time we've made some really, really good connections and met some really good people. Like everybody in this chat right now, Erica, Dante, Melon Smasher, people who aren't here, the Ant Mass that shows up all the time. Bears fan for life,
Broski Bear.
Broski Bear. It's been an amazing journey, and we're not even the first.
Bears
year.
Country Production, Bears Country Podcast.
I was just about to get
BCP. Can't leave them out. Yeah.
Bears Country Podcast, one of my favorite and top shows that I watch outside of ours. Those guys, if you're not watching them, go check them out because they're awesome. They have a lot of fun out there, and they do things a little bit different. And we've shared a lot of stuff with other groups. And Shane Taub at Windy City, In Zone, we've been doing a lot of content work with him. And I just wanted to give a big shout out and a big thank you to him because he actually reached out to us and wanted to take us to the Bears Family Fest on August 3rd. And I'm really appreciative. I've never been to that particular thing. I used to go when it was at the hotel. I've never been to Family Fest at Soldier Field. But, I said, hey, man, what do you want for it? Nothing, anything payback. He said nothing. He goes, this is just a payback for your Bears dedication at 4-Star Chicago Sports to all of us for pumping out content and staying true to the Chicago Bears. And Shane, we love you and I appreciate you. Can't wait to hang out with you on August 3rd at Family Fest. Thank you so very much.
Oh yeah, Shane, thank you.
And these guys, I'm sure, all feel the exact same.
Follow Shane's page too.
Read the text that he sent you because are you okay with reading that? Because I thought those were nice words, and I listen. It's just not giving and not expecting anything back. That's what life's all about, friendly gestures, kind gestures, random acts of kindness. Like that's what it's about. And this community is about. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I texted him back and said, "That's amazing, bro. I really appreciate it, and I really like to do something for you as well." And he goes, "It's all good, buddy. I don't do things with expectations of getting something in return. I appreciate it, though." And I asked him, I said, "Mind if I give you a shout out and a big thank you on the show tonight?" He goes, "No, I think that would be awesome. I appreciate the love." He goes, "I'm glad I can help you guys out. Your dedication to Bears content is inspiring, and I hope this contribution helps you guys grow 100%. So, Shane, thank you, man, so much.
Man.
We'll see you on August 3rd, and keep looking for great content.
Thanks for being here, Visit Joe.
Yeah, and check out Shane's page as well because he always has a lot of good content.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Windy City In Zone.
He's
Go
competing
check
with
that
Breaking
out.
News Bruce there. Thank you, Vizzo Joe. Means a lot. Thanks for being here, man. More importantly
Yeah,
than
absolutely,
us being
man.
on. Thanks for watching, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, traffic's a little busier with no Cubs game on, huh?
Yeah, I guess the Cubs got some pull there, And I mean, speaking of Cubs, Sean, you got another video you want to show?
Oh, God. Kyle, you said I
Just
should never show
No
this on
context
here.
Cubs right here.
I would show it through NBC, ABC, Fox.
Oh man, I want to show it so bad.
Maybe
Maybe we'll wait to the end of the show. Maybe we'll wait to the end of the show.
Oh, yeah, we'll show at the end of the show. Stay tuned.
Yeah, if you guys want to see the most ridiculous shit of your life, stick around.
It's the
for end
most
of the
fucking
show.
funny thing. Listen, this is the tease. This is the funniest shit that you will see
It's
all day today.
2016 Game 1 Cubs division series against the Giants. It's great stuff. But we're gonna move on really quick to these contracts.
It's Sean at his sloshes, guys. Just stay tuned.
Yes, Sean and his slash fest. To the contract chaos going on with the second round picks, because this is really huge.
Hey, hold on.
Chicago Bears.
I thought we're gonna segue into the 10 players that Poles.
We just went through Ryan Poles' tenure, and then we want to go into the list because ESPN's releasing this top 10 list at each position, right?
Sure.
We'll finish out with the second round things because that is important as well to the Bears. But
very important.
I think the Poles conversation lends itself directly to this. Now, again, it's an ESPN list, and they're doing it by position. Releasing one every day. VPs, execs, coaches, and scouts are polling on this. Yes,
you guys. Real quick, Ron says he just asked Adam Rank this question. Do you think the Bears' new line can stand up to a good defenses? So just let us know what he said, Adam.
Yes.
Let us know what Adam Rank's response was, Ron.
Yeah.
I'll answer that and say, fuck yeah. I think this offensive line has been put together in a very
if healthy,
strong way.
If healthy, yes, for sure. No doubt about it.
And I mean, you can give that caveat with any unit in the NFL if healthy.
As long as you're playing left tackle.
I mean,
yeah. So, I mean, I guess with this poll that came out, I say –
so they still have cornerbacks, wide receivers, and what was the other? And what's the other ones? Linebackers that still need to be released.
I don't think the Bears will make the linebacker list.
I think you'll get a cornerback.
Quarterback list.
I think DJ Moore will be an honorable mention. I don't know that he'll be in the top 10. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
I'll say this right now. If this was 2019, a year after the Bears won the division, I think the Bears would be littered with people on this list. I think it's
Roquan Smith for sure.
Well, sure.
I guess
I think a big miss for them is Darnell Wright. I think it's a huge miss.
Not even a vote.
The guy was top 6 in his position
because he's on the Bears.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. And the bigger point is that the one player on that made a top 10 of all the Chicago Bears players was Joe Thuney at interior offensive line. I think he was ranked 6th on that list. And I don't really want to dive into the list too much, but more about we're all talking about how this Bears team can compete and it should compete and it could be a playoff contender. And you see it coming in the chat. Everybody feels that way. Yeah. Is this team as good talent-wise as we think it is? Because people around the league don't seem to feel that way because the teams that are playoff teams have multiple players on these lists. On each one of these lists, the talent is there and it's acknowledged. Not so much with the Chicago Bears. So is that just national media hating on the Bears because of a down season? Or is this team just not as talented as we think it is? That's the bigger talking point to me.
This will be where
I'll say this, Dustin.
Hold on, Sean was going.
Real quick, Brandon. If you go back to 2023 and you're going into 24 and you have Montez Sweat's numbers when he's coming off 12.5 sacks, top 5 in run stopping.
Well, if I had a time machine, Sean,
that's all I'm saying. It's a matter of where you are, time and place. The Bears suck, so they don't.
Yeah, we're talking about this season, though.
There. Yeah, coming off of
we can continue to say, well, if you go back to 2020, we're here.
I'm saying it matters about time and place.
Well, yeah, but if you're talent evaluation, you should look at players from 20 when they got drafted.
Right. If Montez Sweat's coming off a career year, he's going to be on that list because he had a down year by his expectations.
You're going off one season.
That's the list going into this year of the top 10 talent. But the real
question.
I understand, but the rankings are based off what, one season, just last year.
Correct.
But the real question.
That's what they're saying.
Because we're talking about projection and who's listen, do I think that DeAndre Swift's going to be on that running back list at the end of this season? No. Do I think Montez Sweat's going to be on that list? No. Do I think Devon Dexter is going to be on that list? Possibly.
Yes.
Do I think Darnell Wright's going to be on that list? Yes.
I do.
Yes. Do I think that there's room for these guys to improve to make those lists? Yes. Do I think that the players that I've expected to be on those lists prior to this year are going to be there eventually? No, I don't.
Again, I feel like leaning into the list themselves. It's just the list can be shot down. This is a list by ESPN. Again, it's it's coaches, it's scouts, it's execs voting and polling on this. But at the end of the day, I think the bigger point is, are the Bears as talented as a roster as we think? Kyle,
what's up?
That's really the question.
Melon Smasher, if you think
Jed checking in
is better than Jalen
Jed, what's going on, brother?
Kirby Joseph was on that top. Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch were in the top 6 on the safeties, top 10 in the NFL, voted by.
And again, you missed on Kyler Gordon because Kyler Gordon should be on that list. He's a
cornerbacks
top 5 nickel in the league.
Well, so I mean, the cornerbacks list is coming out. So you think Kyler Gordon should be a top 10 cornerback ranked in the league? Or are we overestimating the talent on this roster because of where we live?
If there was a nickel list,
the team we root
I
for.
I do, because I think he's a Swiss Army knife, very similar to Brian Branch, who plays safety. I think you're going to see him slide over and play multiple positions. Kyler Gordon's potential has not been tapped, but we have a guy here by the name of Dennis Allen who's going to tap into that. You guys are going to see shit out of this guy. He's going to blow people's fucking minds this year. Mark my word.
That's all well and good, but what I'm saying, again, at the end of the day, this is worth thinking about as a Chicago Bears fan, guys, because we do this. We get the cart before the horse, and then the season happens, and we get kicked in the nuts, as I continue to say.
Individual talent.
Are we overhyping the individual talent on this team at the expense of our fandom? That's the question.
The problem with the list, guys, is I don't think they're basing it off projections. I think they're basing it off of one season in the NFL last year.
They're basing it on polling, and again, I don't really want to focus so much on the list, guys. I don't know. I like it's not really about.
I mean, is Caleb Williams on the list?
No, he's not even mentioned. He didn't get a vote.
Caleb Williams? You guys project Caleb Williams to be top 10 quarterback in the NFL at some point in his career?
Yes.
Well, we're talking about this season. Do you think he's a top 10 quarterback this season in the NFL?
Do I think he could be? Absolutely, yes.
Do you think he is? Would you vote for him to be?
Yes. 8.
Yes. Okay.
8 or 9. Yeah.
So then again, and anybody can chime in on this in the chat. Is that because we're Bears fans and we look at this through rose-colored glasses? I think it's an interesting thing to think about and talk about. Like, are we being realistic in expecting this team to be as talented and competitive as we expect?
I think Caleb Williams is, in terms of God-given talent, is top 3 in the NFL. I think we know that. I think he had a really bad coach last year. Now he has one of the most innovative, creative minds in the NFL to be his coach, and I think he's the best quarterback outside of the pocket.
That play caller is a big deal. Big deal.
When he's improvising, he is the best quarterback in the NFL outside of Patrick Mahomes, and I think that if with the right coach, he could be generational. That's what I think.
The play calling, Kyle. The play calling just in and of itself is an amazing upgrade. And then you talk about the fact that this offensive line has been vastly upgraded. Caleb Williams is in for a great rebound sophomore season. I agree with
Daniels should not.
I agree with you 100%. Real quick, Melon Smasher. Chicago Bears secondary has been ranked in the top 10 of units by everybody that I've seen put out a list so far this offseason. So I don't think nationally they're considered bottom 10. I saw PFF had them ranked as 6th, I believe, on their list. Go ahead, Brandon. Sorry.
I think
Jed's funny.
I think the ability for the young players on this roster to be better because of the coaching development that's been provided now, but with Ben Johnson, the hires
still projection though, right?
But young players on this team, you guys just said it. Your mid-level, your mid draft picks, those guys, they have to matter. It can't be healthy scratches all around for all the guys you took in the 3rd and 4th round. These guys have to play a part on your football team. So you have to. The expectation is that the coaches
are we in? I'm confused. Are we talking about the top 10 lists, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, the Bears roster.
We're talking about the overall talent on this team, and are we overhyping the talent on this team?
But the expectation for me is that the guys that aren't paid $100 million, the Montez Sweats, Jalen Johnsons, DeAndre Swifts, the guys that you know, the guys that have been in the league and doing it, the young guys on this team that we drafted hoping would be better players one day, do they develop into better players? That will make the difference with this roster, because we've said it time and time again. There's no depth here, but it's not necessarily the players. It's not necessarily the players on it. It's the guys who've been coaching them.
But you got to wait. I mean, we could just sit here and break down every player in the Bears one by one.
I mean,
you got to wait.
I have to say,
Javon Dexter could get better. Darnell Wright could get better. Tyler Gordon could get better.
They should be getting better.
Hold on. We just talked about Ryan Poles getting his extension. If you believe none of the Bears are creeping on these lists next year, then Ryan Poles shouldn't have a freaking job in Chicago. If you're telling me Kyler Gordon, Brisker, Dexter, Stevenson, Darnell Wright, Caleb Williams, Roma Dunze, none of these guys are going to crack the list, then the GM shouldn't have been retained here, because his talent evaluation sucks, his players suck. I believe that a lot of these guys are going to be creeping on these lists, because I think there's a lot of untapped talent on the Chicago Bears football team. And I do believe, and I'll say it for the millionth time, Montez Sweat is going to have a monster season. There's going to be people eating crow who have ripped this guy apart for a year.
I'd be remiss if I did not mention again that the whole point of me bringing this up when I was talking about topics for the shows, guys, topics for the show was not to really dive into the list. The lists are the list. It is what it is. The bigger talking point to me is the talent on this team and what does it say about it nationally.
What do you think, Dustin? Is the team better than we think or worse?
I think that we as Bears, and Razzle checked in and said that shit is all hope, family. That's what this year is.
Hold on really quick. Hey,
and I'm glad Razzle checked in. Thanks, Razzle. Thanks for being here.
What's up, Razzle?
We can have this conversation.
They need to throw the ball your way.
Jalen Johnson doesn't really get the opportunity to be a ball hawk
because he says that. He says that later. He says Jalen Johnson is locked down.
Yeah. So here, to answer the question, since I just want to kind of bring this in, I think that yes, any fan base does overhype and overrate their team, especially in the offseason.
That's why
everybody's a winner in the offseason, right?
Sure.
And then we got to see it on the NFL football field. But I think we do need to work on being a little more realistic and understanding there's a reason why none of these guys are even touching this top 10 list. Cole Kmet was an honorable mention at tight end, couldn't even make the top 10 in tight ends. And these are the guys that we're banking on for carrying this team talent-wise throughout the next 3 years under Ben Johnson and with Ryan Poles steering the ship. So I think we do need to be realistic about the talent level here, and at the same time be optimistic because now is the time to do so.
That's what I'm saying, though.
And one of the players,
say you're the 11th best tight end.
We're clearly overhyping the talent on this team by a national standard.
The 11th best tight end in the NFL is very good. Like there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the 11th best tight end in the NFL.
Something that can't be understated.
If you get two people that end up making that list, you're not thought of very highly across the NFL.
Well, but for instance, I looked at the list. I think Detroit Lions had one offensive lineman on the list, and by the last 5 years, they say they're the best offensive lineman in the NFL.
Well, they just lost two guys that would have been on that list.
The Eagles have one guy offensive lineman on the list. Like, who gives a shit?
Most important,
as a unit, they're the best unit in the NFL.
No, they had two or three actually. They had Lane Dickerson, Lane Johnson.
So two of their five guys are
the
offensive line.
Yeah. It can't be understated that the only guy that made this list
defensive tackle on the list.
The only guy.
You guys do this last word thing that drives me nuts. The only thing that this what matters, man. There's one guy on the Bears that made this fucking list, and he's newly acquired, and Ryan Poles went and got him aggressively. Okay, Joe Thuney is the player that's on the list, and he's a new addition to the Chicago Bears. So is the roster improved from last year? Yes, the roster is improved. Are we overhyping it? Of course we are, because it's all hypothetical. Caleb Williams, what could be, are always going to play.
Year. They improve every year. You get a bunch of money in free agency in a draft. If the rosters improve every single year, every year.
I don't know.
Did it improve last year?
Last year, by adding Caleb Williams and Roma Dunze?
Yeah, but you got 5 wins. So, I mean, you didn't improve.
You didn't say the record. You set the roster. Did the roster get better by adding Caleb Williams and Roma Dunze? Yes, they did.
Razzle, the Giants,
100% for the future.
Razzle, the Giants nickel. I think you meant to say nickel is rated number 1 in the NFL.
And really quick, Melon Smasher. The Bears let up 217 yards and allowed the least amount of passing touchdowns in the NFL last year. I don't need a ball hawk. They don't allow touchdowns through the air.
It'd be nice to have some interceptions, though, Sean.
It would be nice. But a batted pass and a breakup.
Guys, there's also a huge correlation. Melon Smasher. There's a huge correlation between interceptions and pressure on the quarterback.
The Broncos
had the most sacks in the NFL last year, and they had the best secondary in the NFL last year. Yeah. They allowed 190 passing yards a game. You have to pressure the quarterback.
Actually, get a bunch of interceptions. I think you're wrong, but your point still stands. I think the team with the most sacks had the most interceptions. Wasn't it the Ravens? Didn't they have both?
The Broncos.
I think they led the league in both.
I can tell you,
they had a triple crown.
The Ravens did an awful lot. The Ravens allowed an awful lot through the air, through the passing. All I'm saying, and Kyle, you're 100% right. Those two things work in tandem. If the Bears cannot pressure the quarterback, that secondary is not going to get as many interceptions. And last year, both struggled because of it. And you're hoping for better this year, but that just lends itself to this conversation.
Guys very rarely,
we have the talent on the defensive line to get the pressure on the quarterback.
But if any quarterback in the NFL stands back there for 12 seconds, not going to throw a lot of picks. They're NFL quarterbacks. They're not going to throw a lot of picks when they're not being pressured and they're just standing back there eating a sandwich. Of course, they're going to complete most of their passes. If the Bears can apply pressure, which is why they brought Grady Jarrett, Deo. I don't know how to say his last name. And they drafted Shamar Turner. They went and got a defensive coordinator who's supposedly the most creative blitz package defensive coordinator in the NFL.
Much more
I'm
aggressive.
assuming
He's
they're
going to
going
bring the
to
fight
apply
to the
more
offense.
pressure.
Yes,
And like we all said, I know you
offense.
guys don't like him, but Montez Sweat played through numerous injuries last year. He was basically the only threat on the defensive line that they had outside of Javon Dexter, who didn't play full time. So
See,
yeah,
but
they
that's
should
how
be
you're
better by
saying-
default.
Kyle, your
that
take
makes
is
Dustin's
that this
point.
roster is better than
Yes.
what
See,
we're getting
no,
credit
Dustin,
for
I'm
based
gonna-
on last
no.
year's results.
Yes.
I'm just
No.
summing up what Kyle's taking.
Yes, they're
We're
a better roster.
overhyping this roster because you lost Walker and you replaced him with Dale. Okay, even if you say, and this is speculation, even if you say
I
Dale
think
is
that's an
better than,
upgrade. I think
even
that's
if you
an
say
upgrade.
he's better, you don't know that you've really improved your line altogether. And then you say you add Grady Jarrett, who had a 6% win rate last year, the lowest of his career. I think the defensive line is definitely overhyped. If you think that this team's going to come out and start applying pressure in all kinds of ways, I don't.
Well, then, Burden, then you don't
I
like
don't buy it.
Shamar Turner, and you
Was-
guys are also leaving.
No,
you're
but-
making
but
it
it
so
was
black
like-
and white. So you're telling me Javon Dexter can't get better, Burden?
Well,
he
Shamar
can't
Turner's
be
a
better
rookie.
this year than he
My
was last year.
expectations over Shamar
What?
Turner are
That's
very low.
ridiculous.
He's
That's
a
absolutely
rookie.
ridiculous.
Javon
So
Dexter-
Montez Sweat can't be better this year than he was last year.
Well, Kyle,
Javon
That's
but,
Dexter
ridiculous,
is
bro.
in for a
That's
great
absolutely
season.
ridiculous.
I firmly
okay,
believe.
so
That's
here,
ridiculous.
I'm going to use an example.
called development.
Last year, I said before the season began, the Bears had one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. You three told me Nate Davis will take a stride forward. He'll be a better player than he was.
I never said that about Nate
Ryan
Davis.
Bates will be the starting center, who, by the way, was a backup
Nobody
guard.
told you
That's
this,
the
Burden.
addition that
You
was
always
made.
Come in here and
I
put
wish
words in
Ryan
people's
Bates made
mouths.
it.
Nobody
I said
said
Ryan
any of the
Bates
stuff
was
that you're saying right now. Nobody.
What do you guys?
Nobody
We
said
did
any
we
of
did
it.
a trenches show where I was told the Bears'
ridiculous,
offensive
man.
line was substantially better than they were the year before.
If you don't
He
think
said
the
middle
Bears'
of the
defensive
road.
line has improved from last year, with even just getting Andrew Billings back
The
healthy,
defensive
you're
line
insane.
certainly improved.
You're
from last
insane,
year.
bro.
It's
Not
You're
as-
insane.
Not as much as Bears fans give it credit for.
You don't know
Which
that.
is the
because
point
you
of this
don't-
conversation.
You don't know that.
Which
Because
is
you
the
don't know
point of
much
this
about Dale.
conversation.
You don't watch Dale, Brennan. You don't watch the Colts. I
There's
know you
no
don't.
reason to
And you
think
don't know
that
anything about Shamar Turner.
there's no reason to think that the Bears' defensive line should finish anywhere near the top of the league based on the additions they've
Nobody
made.
said
There's
top of the
no
league.
reason to
Dustin
believe
Can I
that.
said
say
that
this?
they
Top of the
improve.
league.
Can I
Dustin
say this?
said did they improve? That's what he asked.
I think the interior of this defensive line is greatly improved. With
I
Billings
agree.
being back healthy,
Greatly.
with
Greatly.
Javon Dexter, I think he's going to continue. Javon Dexter's improved every year, and he will continue.
Yes.
Yes.
And then you add Grady Jarrett, who is a leader for this locker room at the end of the day. That's going to be his biggest
Yeah, just the
impact
off the
on
field
this
stuff is
team.
huge.
To
Just
me,
that's huge.
Just the education that he can give
Yeah,
these guys
huge.
in getting after the quarterback. Whether or not he can still do it is up for debate, Brandon. I'll give you that. And then Shamar Turner, I think the interior of this defensive line is greatly improved, which you hope with a good defensive coordinator will then bleed out to the edges. And you hope that with the right blitz packages and with the fact that they're going man to man versus zone, where they're going to get beat up all the time in a zone, that's not going to happen this year. You would expect that those two things working together would equal more pressure on the quarterback,
You
just
expect
on the
that
strength of
stopping
Dennis
the-
Allen calling the defense.
You expect
me.
that stopping the run will
Justin, I
provide
agree
more
with you
pass
100%.
rush, because that's the point. When you don't stop the run, you don't rush the pass.
Well,
Like
it
Dennis
starts with
Allen-
it starts
like-
with that, Brandon.
like
You are
Dennis
100%
Allen said.
correct.
It starts with stopping the run. That's how
I do
you
think
establish
their run
a pass
defense
You
is
are
going to be
100%
better just by
correct.
bringing Billings back. Not to mention, I mean, Kyle,
Grady
know
Jarrett
this
can
off the
impact
top
that
of your
too.
head. Montez Sweat was a top run defender for how many years in a row in the
He's
top
one of
five?
the best run
He was
defenders.
number
at
one in the
defensive end.
NFL for 3 seasons straight.
That's what I'm
Number one
saying.
in the NFL at
Like,
stopping the run.
Your
Defensive
pieces are
end.
there, and Javon Dexter has also gotten better against the run over the every year in the NFL. So you start adding these parts together. Yes, they should be better
That's
this
common
year
sense,
at
yeah.
getting to the quarterback and stopping the run both. Period.
They're just as a unit,
I love
they're a
Jedi
better,
Knight
much
so much.
better. And I think Deo is certainly an upgrade over Walker. I mean, I don't see how you could say that's. I mean, dude,
You're
by all
hoping-
account,
Dante made the point that
I mean,
Shamar
all I can
Turner
do
is
is use.
Dante. I want to point this
Yeah,
out.
you're right,
Dante,
Kyle. Same thing as
Hey,
hoping
really
that
quick,
Booker
really
is
quick.
the guy.
Dante made the point that Turner replaces Walker, and then Dio is just an addition, an upgrade on top of that. And I like that way of looking at it.
I don't know if that correlates. They play different positions.
Brennan, do you
Yeah, a
expect
little
Austin
bit.
Booker to be
But
better
Walker
this year than he
played
was
both
last
in
year?
between both. So I
Yeah,
think
he
that's
was-
what
What's
he's
that,
getting at.
Kyle?
Do you expect Austin Booker to be better this year than he was last year?
I
Even if
hope.
he's not like a god.
I hope.
I haven't seen Dodzy in a while, guys.
My expectation for Austin Booker isn't very high, man. My hope is that he becomes what I'd like him to be, of course, yes. But he was a project player, and I knew that when he was drafted. And I didn't expect him to have a big rookie year. But do I think that, based on what I saw last year, he's this guy that's going to come out and have a 15-sack season? Not at all. No, because I have a realistic view over what I watch.
My response to Dustin's question is: are we overhyping? I'm not overhyping the Bears because I think with my brain, and I'm not saying that I'm like smarter than everybody else, but my thought process for the Chicago Bears going into 2025 is, I think there's guys who are very talented on this roster. I think it was tough to see at times last year because the play calling was absolutely atrocious.
The coaching,
I think the team kind of gave up on the coaching staff, which they shouldn't have. Even though they had the right to, they shouldn't have done that because you should never give up at your job. You should keep.
Hey Kyle, let me just add on to what you're saying here real quick, because Darius earlier said you can't not hold the players accountable, and
yes,
the players should not have quit, and it seemed like they did. I hate to say it, but like it just looked like they did, and these players deserve a lot of that. That needs to fall on them too.
Yes, 100%. But I think just the fact of them, if they play this year and they don't quit, they're going to look better. And then on top of it, guys, like just the fact that the Bears just weren't a very good team makes everybody look worse. If the Bears are a competitive football team this year, I think you're going to start to see some of this talent shine a lot more. And I think you'll start to see some of these names on this list. Does that mean the Bears are one of the best rosters in the NFL? No. So they have holes. Yes.
And you have to ask yourself, man,
these guys are going to look a lot better.
You can do this in reverse, right? I think the defensive line today, guys, needs more. I think they need more on the defensive line. And
but you can also say they improved.
I believe that only because the only reason I would think that is because I think it's not enough. And that's how I'm analyzing the defensive line.
Sure. But do they get credit for the improvements and the additions that they made? Because they get credit for making the moves. But do I think it's going to reflect as much as the average Bears fan does? No, I don't. I think that this was the same situation we had with the offensive line last year. People thought it was substantially better than it was because they made moves. They traded for Ryan Bates. Did they make the right moves?
Yeah, okay. It's just I don't. Yeah, they got Coleman Shelton. They did things where people were excited because moves were being made, but that doesn't always mean
Shelton signing was asked. I said it.
But that doesn't always mean that things are. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean you're vastly improved. Especially, it could mean that you're better. It doesn't mean that you're vastly improved. But I do believe that defensive line and that linebacking unit, guys, needs more.
I just don't know what this
guys. Real quick, Dobbsy, no need to apologize. We're happy you're here, brother. Thank you for being here. Keep checking in with comments.
Thanks, Dobbsy.
Make sure you hit that like button if you.
I don't know, man. I think the team as a whole has improved substantially just from the play calling. I mean, you have two proven play callers in the NFL. Matt Eberflus was not a proven play caller in the NFL. Luke Getsy was not a proven play caller. None of the guys the Bears have hired. Shane Waldron was not a proven play caller. Like. These guys that are here are, by all accounts, from everybody in the NFL world, all media assets, all other GMs, other coaches are like, Dennis Allen's one of the best defensive play callers in the NFL, and Ben Johnson might be the best offensive player in the NFL.
But
the team gets better just
I
off
saw
of
a list
alone.
Today, guys, where Ben Johnson was third behind McVay and Shanahan.
That's
but
fair.
It speaks,
That's
guys.
fair.
It speaks
That's
to
fair,
something.
I thought I'd throw that out there since you brought that up.
It speaks to something.
100%.
When we're doing a show a week ago, should the Bears sign? So should the Bears sign this? Darius Smith. Yeah. Should the Bears? I mean, because it's a clear concern.
More. You need more.
The
Bears needed one in the draft. The defensive end in the draft.
I just said to you, what you're saying, there's validity to. There's not enough there, but that also doesn't mean that the players here aren't going to improve. The Bears have 40 sacks last year as a team.
No, Sean, and I think that they are improved. I don't think it's improved enough. That's why we think they need more. It's not enough.
And that's fair.
Okay. To add
it's
on,
not enough to be. It's not enough to be good to me.
To what Kyle was saying, what he thinks about this.
I don't know about that.
Well, here, let me say this.
I think middle of the road.
I think this is where Brandon can definitely agree because he's been on this from the beginning. Because any Bears fan should. This coaching staff is immaculate.
Yes.
The coaching staff that Ben Johnson has put together is immaculate. When you take that into account, and then you take into account that they added the pieces they did along the defensive line. You got Bill Johnson as your defensive line coach, and you got Dennis Allen as your defensive coordinator. There will be improvement just on the strength of that. If the players didn't change at all, there will be improvement on the strength of that. They did add.
That's why I continue. That's why I keep mentioning player development because we can sign Deo, we could sign Grady Jarrett on the bottom of the hill, and I was not as excited as everybody else was about that signing. But
I thought it was an overpay. We all said it at the time.
Yes, Dustin. My hope and where I hang my hat on the Bears projections and why I think things are going in the right direction is those guys make Turner and Booker the players they need to fucking be. That's where I think the difference is going to
Booker
be.
is the X factor of this defensive line.
Is the young talent going to become the players they have the capability of becoming based
Booker
on the
is the
guys
X
who are
factor
developed?
of this defensive line getting pressure, guys.
First, let's find a base.
That's what it
Let's
is.
find a base, right? Like people are talking about the Bears defensive line, like the worst defensive line in history of the NFL. They were 5th in pressures last year and 16th in sacks. 5th in pressures last year, 16th in sacks. This wasn't the worst defensive line in NFL history. They were 5th in pressures in the NFL. Look it up. They were 16th in sacks. So if they stay at 5th in pressures and they go to 14th in sacks, I'll take it.
Even if they
take it.
Even if they drop to 10th in pressures, Kyle, and go up to 10th in sacks.
Sure.
I don't listen. I don't want to talk about too much about numbers.
Sean first. Sean, what you got?
I think we can get the 50 because that we were talking about it. One guy,
100%.
we know it's going to succeed. You know why? Because he went where? Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
Austin Booker is the X factor for this defensive line.
And it's not about statistics. It's not about statistics to me. It's not about where they finished last year. It's not about where they finished next year. Guess what it's about? It's like when Jaden Daniels is going to throw a Hail Mary play to win the game, can he run around for 15 fucking seconds this upcoming season?
No.
Am I going to watch that again?
No.
That's what it's about a player making a play.
That was a play call. That was not about a play. The players did exactly what they were told to do, Brandon. So if you're referring to the Jaden Daniels Hail Mary,
what do you mean?
That was
the
call.
front 4 players were told to get the quarterback.
They didn't rush 4. They rushed 3, and they had a spy. They didn't rush.
Somebody
4.
still needs to make a play.
No, they weren't even trying to. Go back and watch. They weren't even trying to rush the quarterback. That is on coaching. 100%.
We're not trying to rush the quarterback on that play.
Do you think the pass rush was effective enough to make good quarterbacks play worse last season?
No, but I think it'll be better with this coaching staff. They just sent the entire defensive line to a pass rush specialist to spend a month.
And Sean, that's awesome. And they should be doing things like that. That's awesome. I still think they need. I just don't think.
But what you're saying is, Brandon, that is this team is
what
not
they were supposed to do according to Matt.
What you sound like you're saying is they're worse than last year.
No, what I'm saying is what I think. What I've thought from the beginning, they don't have the guy you need on that line.
No, I disagree. I think Montez Sweat can be that guy.
Of course, we're always going to. And listen, I don't want to dive into that. We're always going to disagree with that.
He's been that guy in the NFL.
I think Javon Dexter is going to be a really damn good player. A very damn good player.
I think that's where I'm kind of the dividing line here with us 4 because you do need to believe in Montez Sweat to believe in this defensive line.
Yes.
I have a tough time doing that, but I believe very strongly in Javon Dexter, and I think he establishes himself as the leader of this defensive line and the pressure generator. I think that is going to happen with his contract year coming up and Grady Jarrett there to work with him. And I just think that Javon Dexter is in for really big things. And I think that bleeds over into Montez Sweat performing as well.
Booker and Deo and everybody else in the line. And I think Billings is also huge for this line. You saw how much they fell apart when he left last year. In Dexter's first
Booker
5 games,
is a stud. Yeah, I believe Austin Booker is a fucking
stud. In Dexter's first 5 games, he had 3 sacks.
But after that
Billings gets hurt, he has 2 sacks for the rest of the year.
I believe this, and I believe that, and I believe this makes that better. And that, do we think this roster is better than it is?
Yes, I do.
No.
I do.
No. So you better than it actually
better than it actually is.
Yes, that's what he's asking.
Like when you look at it on paper,
are we overhyping this roster talent-wise? Do you believe?
No,
that?
I think
we're all pretty
short
even
in some spots, but I do.
DJ Prophet says yes.
You guys said Sean and I said 8 or 9 wins. I think that's where the roster is. I think they're an 8 or 9 win team.
Okay, that's fair.
I do think there's a lot of talent on this roster. I think you need a coaching staff to coach
it
up.
The foundation
and
is
bring
here.
it to fruition, but I think the right coaches are here, and I think they're going to surprise some people. I think the Bears are going to sneak up on people.
It's also really hard because you just don't know what to expect out of Turner. You don't know what to expect out of Loveland. You don't know what to expect out of Burden. Like maybe this is the best roster in the NFL. We just haven't seen these guys play yet.
I'm going to do one better.
Melon Smasher.
If the Chicago Bears give up 60 points in the first 2 games, You DM me and I'll send you whatever jersey you want in the NFL. I'll buy it myself. That is not going to happen.
Dustin, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask
Please.
you outside of the defensive line.
Sean will do that, Melon Smasher.
Shift the gears
I
here a
know
little
him to be
I mean,
true.
Dustin, you like DJ Moore, right? I don't think he's like your favorite player on the Bears. But you like
I
him.
love
He's a
DJ
good player,
Moore.
right?
I love-
Yeah, and
love DJ.
you love Rome Odunze.
I love Rome more.
And you love Caleb Williams, and you, of all people, probably love Colston Loveland, Luther Burden the most. So how could they not have improved?
And the key to it to me is listen, I wasn't asking the question because I believe that we are or aren't. I was more asking the question because I think it's a good thought process to go to as a fan of a team, because you tend to have unrealistic expectations for the team that you root for. So I just thought it was a good thought experiment. But at the end of the day, the talent on this offense is kind of special in my mind.
Amazing.
And when you put that together with the fact that Ben Johnson is now your play caller, who could establish himself as to be the best play caller in the NFL this season as a head coach, doing it on the level of Sean McVay and Shanahan as the head coach, because that makes a difference to me. If you're the offensive coordinator, a little less pressure, but if you can do it on the level of Sean McVay, then you're showing.
Melon Smasher.
Hold on. So I believe that this offensive line was improved dramatically, and I'm a big fan of the interior of this offensive line. Dramatically. I have very big questions about the tackle spots. We're going to see how that goes. So those could show themselves to be lingering effects of that offensive line not being fully rehabilitated yet, and Caleb Williams could still have some issues in terms of playing with time. If Ben Johnson gets Caleb Williams to play with time in timing of this offense, I think that these weapons on the outside go off, because this offensive line will give them enough time for what Ben Johnson draws up. Caleb needs to execute it. That's what it comes down to for me in terms of the offense.
I think the success of this football team is predicated off of the season that Caleb Williams has. I think
the season that Ben Johnson and Caleb have together. Yes.
How comfortable Ben Johnson is with letting Caleb Williams open up the playbook and expand this offense based on how his development and timing is improving.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think this season comes down to. Like, people kept saying, the Bears could be playoff teams. It's happened to other teams in the past. Yeah, if Caleb Johnson and Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson hit the game running, if they hit the game or hit the ground running, this Bears team could be a playoff team.
There's a lot of talent.
I'm hard pressed to find a defense that can stop if all these offensive players end up being who we think they're going to be, which is a big if. But if Colston Loveland,
we said the same shit last year.
I like that, Dante.
For sure. But if Colston Loveland's a top 10 tight end, if Colston Loveland's top tight end, if Luther Burden is being compared to Antonio Brown, if he's even up 75% of Antonio Brown, and you have Rome Odunze and DJ Moore, who I think we all believe we've seen on the talent on the field now, we know they're good players. If this offensive line holds up, this offense is very, very, very tough to stop. So the defense doesn't have to be the best defense in the NFL.
I think we naturally overrate our teams that we root for. So yes, I think the answer to that question is yes. We do overrate this roster, but I do think that this roster is very good. Poles and Ben Johnson have put together a very talented roster, more talent on this roster than we've seen in many years, especially because of this offensive line, Kyle. So I have high hopes. But at the end of the day, they're just hopes until it starts happening.
Yeah, and that's all we could do. We could sit here and project because nobody knows what the Bears are going to do in 2025. But if you look at – I don't blame Ryan Poles for being like, you know what? I brought Ben Johnson here. Look at this roster I have here. I think this team's going to be a good football team. I think this is going to be a good football team. I don't blame him. Like, so do I, Ryan. I agree. I think this is going to be a good football team.
Hope can cloud your projection, because it'd be more realistic to say that Austin Booker – ends up being just the guy that he was last year.
Fine, well, let
me read Dante's comment real quick, guys. Let me
I agree with that
because it's a very good comment. If they don't have a stud on the D line, i.e. a Montez Sweat stepping up, right? They better not have any scrubs. Hopefully the sum is better than the parts. If they play as a unit and they rush the passer together and stay in their lanes together, then they can still make an impact in terms of getting after the quarterback and stopping the run.
This team is going to be sacked by committee. This is not going to be Myles Garrett has 18 sacks and everybody else has 4. This is going to be sacked by committee. They should all have 8. That's the goal, right?
I think a sack by committee can only be so.
They know that. They know that.
Hey, can I just want to say this. I talked about the 2017 Rams just a little bit ago. If you go to the 2016 Rams, that team was 4-12. They went to 2017, first year under Sean McVay, turned it around.
Yeah, Jeff Fisher is very comparable to Matt Eberflus, by the way, in that scenario.
And here, I would say. When you want to look at it, that team was not a very good team. You know what that team was? Coached very well and they knew how to win football games. Brandon, you know how many sacks they had? 35.
Are you telling me our team's not very good, but I should expect the coaching to do?
No, I'm saying you think the talent isn't as good as what some of us believe that it is. Sometimes it doesn't have to be, because coaching makes you better. The 2017 Rams are the perfect picture. There was 4 Pro Bowlers on that team.
But that doesn't, Sean, that proves my point. You're saying that, yes, the roster is probably not as good as we think it is, but coaching can make it better.
I think the roster is really good, and I think the coaching staff is going to make it better.
When you say the words sack by committee and run by committee, guys, that's a problem for me. You're running by committee.
The Dante comment, Sean.
When you're running by committee, it's because you don't have the running back you need. When you're sacking by committee, it's because you don't have the guy that you need to get this.
How long are you going to talk about the fact that they didn't get a defensive end? Like, it's over. It's over. The draft's over. Free agency's over. Now you got to wait till next year. You got to wait till next year. They don't have Myles Garrett.
This is the conversation we're having.
They don't have Myles Garrett.
Running back by committee, every team,
we can say it over and over and over.
What are there, 4 bell cows in the NFL right now? Every team brings running backs in to do what they do best for certain plays.
But the best teams have the best running backs.
DJ says, how about sack by scheme and run by scheme? Yeah, I mean, in terms of the coaching, setting up these players to be successful as they can be, given their talents, that's what you would hope from this all-star coaching staff. 100%. That's what you would hope for.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
well, in the NFL, Brandon, you're never going to have studs at all the positions. So, like, you're going to have to get more out of less in some spots. And if that is the edge rusher, and if that is the running back this season for the Bears,
yes, but
you would hope that this Bears coaching staff gets enough out of them to still be competitive.
Okay, now we're losing sight of the conversation entirely. That doesn't change the fact that the team's not as talented as you think it is.
I think we all
get back to the base here, guys.
I think we can all agree that we overhype our teams. I feel like we should be able to.
If the Bears wanted to target a running back over free agency in the draft, and they didn't get it, the Bears would probably tell you it's not where they want it to be.
Of course, every team in the NFL has a group where it's not where they want it to be.
But Kyle, it's as simple as going back to last offseason and where that ended up getting us, because we all thought that this team was better than it was, but more talent than it had. We all thought that, and we were rudely awakened to find out.
We also all know that I am the biggest.
So that's just an example.
And I'm not disagreeing with sack by committee or sack by scheme,
most important thing on
but
the
it
team,
means you're missing something.
We proved it. Offensive line is the second most important thing on a football team besides the quarterback. We proved it. Last year proved it.
And that becomes a chicken
defensive line, defensive end, because you got to get pressure on the other quarterback. No, offensive line is the most important thing in the NFL outside of the quarterback.
Razzle says it's not as good as we think it is until they prove it. Simple. Yes,
I agree. And I also listen. I don't disagree with sack by committee or sack by scheme or whatever, however you want to pitch it. I don't disagree that that's the position the Bears are in, and I think that they could succeed doing that. But it's because they don't have the talent they require at those positions, right?
But that remains to be seen too, Brandon. That does remain to be seen too. If Austin Booker steps up, and
I know Dustin the ifs. I know the ifs. And you know me. I don't live by the ifs.
You're underestimating this coaching staff and their ability to elevate these players on this team. And there is a lot of talent on this football team.
I don't understand that. I just said I understand the sack by scheme thing, but what do you mean that the Bears do have Myles Garrett on their team? The coaching staff just got to find it.
Bernard, give me the best.
I didn't say they have Myles Garrett. I said they have talent.
Hold on.
Of course they do. But
again, if these draft picks all suck, then we're already behind the 8 ball. If all of these players on this list aren't elevated by this coaching staff, then we're behind the 8 ball. Then this team is going to suck.
Dennis Allen,
DJ.
Dennis Allen's defense has been ranked in the top 10, I think, 6 times in his career. Give me the best defensive end or defensive lineman Dennis Allen's ever had.
I don't understand what we're talking about anymore. Are we talking about the coaching, or are we talking about the roster?
You're saying they don't have the guy on the defensive line.
Coaching is part of the roster.
I think they go hand in hand for sure.
What I'm saying is, give me
the roster. The question that was posed is the roster better than or worse than we think it is? That's the question that was posed to me. Not can the coach get more out of it?
It's not our job to convince Brandon to think the way we think, guys. I just want to make that clear. It's not Brandon's job.
And we're completely in a different conversation now.
But that's because we're trying to get, because they want you to see that this roster can be better than what we think it is or what you think it is, right? That's really what it comes down to. But those two things do go hand in hand. In terms of a fan base overrating its team, that is a consistent across the board thing. I think that everyone should be able to agree that that happens.
And I think the roster is exactly where
they are fanatics.
And guess what, guys? I think next year you have a new starting running back.
Guys, you can also look at the fact that the Patriots won Super Bowls without a star running back. Dennis Allen's been a top 10 defensive end in terms of sacks without a stud defensive end.
Bill Belichick made guys that weren't very good look a lot better.
Yes, there are teams in the NFL who have positioned by committee the entire time the coach is there, and they're still really good football teams.
Okay, so the question in the conversation should have been, can the coaches make less talented players better?
No, because I think there's talent on this team that needs to be coached up. Because
That's what
talent.
No.
They could make it better.
We're in talent that's just been put in the wrong situation. They're still
like
the same talent. They're still the same talent. They weren't given the same opportunities.
It seems like the chat is having the same conversation we're having, where it's like there's a lot of hype, but not a lot of results yet. A lot of hype, but maybe not a lot of talent, as much talent as we think. Or like the coaches can get more out. The coaching is more important.
Of course they can, and they will.
And the coaches can get more out of the talent that is on this roster.
I want to ask you a question.
Well, I think everybody kind of feels the same way we are.
On paper, and I'm asking sincerely. I'm not like jabbing it.
Where do I rank the Bears running backs? Bottom
Bears offense. On paper, you look at all the sums and all the parts.
To me, man, that's
running backs, wide receivers.
I don't like doing the if thing, man, but I'll do it to humor this. If Caleb Williams is that guy, then they're good. If he's not, then they're not.
Where do you put them
I'd put them at least 10th. I'd put them at least 10th with Caleb Williams performing.
Colston Loveland's a rookie. Luther Burden's a rookie.
Burden, if they have the 10th best offense on paper and Ben Johnson is considered the best offensive play caller in the NFL, could you see the Bears? Okay, 15. Could you see the Bears finishing as a top 5 offense due to the combination?
No.
Due to the two?
Absolutely not.
No, you don't.
It will not be a top 5.
I think they could finish as a top 5.
I don't think you can state enough how important it is that Ben Johnson is going to be calling plays for Caleb Williams.
I think they could finish as a top 5 offense in the NFL.
I think they have the talent to be a top 10 offense for sure, and I think
the coach to be a top 5.
Yeah. So I mean, like
I think in the eventual,
and they have, more importantly, guys, they have the offensive line to keep Caleb Williams upright if Caleb plays within the timing and system that Ben Johnson lays out.
Yes,
for him.
if he throws those slant routes on time. And he throws those screen passes on time.
Take what the defense gives you right away.
To back up a little bit because they're like, all right, this guy's picking us apart because we're applying so much pressure. We're not getting home fast enough. So we got to start backing up. And then everything opens up for Caleb. Then this is going to be one of the best offenses in the NFL because there's just too many people to guard. There's too many people to guard.
I think there's a very good possibility that next season you are replacing your running back and your left tackle. That's what I think.
I think every year, every team replaces somebody. The Eagles won the Super Bowl. They replaced somebody on the roster. They replaced they replaced Sweat, Josh Sweat. He's gone.
They replaced Mekhi Becton.
The Bears clearly need an every down running.
Yes, but guys, the Bears, but that's a good example, man. The Eagles had the best one of the top 5 offense in the NFL because they had one of the best players at the running back position.
And good coaching.
That goes without debate.
And they had the best offensive line in football, Brandon.
The Cincinnati Bengals.
All 5 offensive linemen were some of the best players at the position.
Jamar Chase. So it goes hand in hand. It wasn't just Saquon Barkley. Jamar Chase won the fucking Triple Crown, dude.
Okay, so listen, I'm going to bring this home a little bit. We started with this. Do we think the Bears are better than they are? And now you're calling them the top 5 offense in the NFL. So that's the answer to the question, I guess.
They have the potential to be a top 5 offense in the NFL.
We are clearly overrating this Bears roster as of right
you
now.
are.
I just think Ben Johnson is Andy Reid. I think he's Kyle Shanahan. I think he's Sean McVay. That's why I think they're going to be a top 5 offense because you know what? All the guys I just named have had a top 5 offense. You know why? Because they're smart.
And because they've had the players, the talent to do it, Kyle. The talent matters.
This is what I'm saying.
The Bears' talent is amazing. If Luther Burden's good and Colston Loveland's good, they might be the best offense in the NFL.
DJ thinks we're going to be okay.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. If you go look at Sean McVay's first year, he had Todd Gurley. That was it. He was running Sammy Watkins and Tavon Austin.
No, they had Brandon. They had Brandon.
No,
Cooks.
They did not.
They had Brandon Cooks that year, didn't they?
Roster sucked.
Didn't they have Brandon Cooks that year as their receiver? They had Brandon Cooks and another guy. They had two guys.
Listen, I'm not out here saying the Bears. I'm not saying the Bears are going to be a
there.
bad football team, man. What I'm saying is that we overhyped the roster. Yes,
Cooper
that's
Kupp
there.
was there. Cooper Kupp was on 2000.
We went all the way around to get back to here.
Scott is jumping in the conversation.
I think saying right now that the Bears could have a top 5 offense, you're probably overhyping the roster a little bit.
11 games.
That's just my
They won
opinion,
11
man.
games.
They
They didn't even have a 1,000-yard receiver.
Guys,
Their
has nothing to
leading
do with
receiver was
hyping.
Robert
They-
freaking Woods.
The Bears
Robert Woods,
scored
there you
one
go.
touchdown
Robert
in the
Woods.
first quarter last year.
Didn't they have Woods and Cooks on that team?
No, their wide receivers on this roster page is Sammy Watkins, Tavon Austin,
Okay,
and
there you
Robert
go.
Woods.
There you go. Sammy Robert
Who's
Woods is
Cooper
lost
Kupp
in
You
draft?
talk about a joke of an offense. They won 11 games because of
Scottish-
Sean McVay.
Scottish jumps in on the conversation we started this show with, saying Poles has the second worst record in the NFL since he's become the Bears GM. Let's extend people for failure.
Well,
So
and
we know
it's-
where he
and-
stands in
and,
that
and then
conversation.
remember too, it's Ben Johnson has been really impressive. Really,
I don't
impressive.
either, Scottish.
The
I
best-
don't either.
To me, a top 3 play caller in the NFL without a doubt. But he didn't have like a bunch of talentless hacks in Detroit. Now, I'm not saying that's what the Bears are. The Bears have a lot of talent as well. But he ran one of the best offenses with one of the best rosters in the NFL.
with an average quarterback. I mean,
An average quarterback
best
and an
roster in the
average-
NFL.
And
gonna
a very good offensive line. The best
You wouldn't call
one of the
Jared
best running
Goff
backs in football.
above
Yeah, the running back
average?
got there 2 years ago, guys. The year before that,
No, I
he was
called
number
Jared
3
Goff
offense in the NFL.
quarterback.
Jameer Gibbs
You
wasn't
guys
there his
called
first
Jared
year.
Goff
He was
one of the
average?
best receivers in
Hey,
football.
Brandon,
for sure.
what happened?
Jared
He didn't have,
Goff is
he didn't have,
average?
he didn't have Jameson
Hold on,
Williams or
time out,
Jameer
time
Gibbs
out.
the year that he was top
What-
5 offensive in the NFL.
What happened
have
when
either of
Jared
them.
Goff? What
Or
happened?
Laporta.
What happened when
Well, they had
Jared Goff left
Hawkinson.
the Rams?
What do you mean?
What had happened when Jared Goff left the Rams? What did they do?
The Lions got better.
Oh, but what did the Rams do?
And the Rams won a Super Bowl with
That's
Matthew
right.
Stafford.
Which
That they
Jared
did
Goff
something
made it.
to Jared
Clearly a
Goff,
better quarterback
just like
than
Okay,
the
Jared.
Lions
listen,
will not.
I'm gonna listen.
Because he's
Listen,
an
I'm sorry.
average quarterback.
Jared Goff is an
System
above
quarterback.
average quarterback. Stop.
I'll tell you this: if Sean McVay was like, "Look at
Guys, we
I
got to
feel
say
like
credible
there's-
things on this
Sean
show.
McVay.
I feel like there's
Sean
10
McVay was
conversations
like,
happening
Get this
right
guy
now.
out of here. Give me a quarterback I can win a Super Bowl with. And as soon as he got that quarterback, he went and got himself that brass ring. didn't he?
I think you can say that trade worked out pretty well for both teams.
I think that you
I
can
think
say if
so.
a guy went to a Super Bowl on one team and an NFC championship on another team, he's probably an above average quarterback. I think that's
he's a
that's
system
plausible.
quarterback. I think he's a system
number 12
quarterback.
in the NFL. Number 12. or
Stafford is
13
clearly
in the
better than Goff. I mean, Goff is
NFL.
a
Clearly.
13 in the NFL.
well. That's
Clearly.
above average. That's above average.
Okay, sorry.
He's
He
an
is
above
slightly
average
above
player.
average.
Come on, man.
Slightly
All right.
above average.
Okay.
Razzle Dazzle
Don't
says y'all
take
talking
everything
like
so
we have.
literally, man.
Razzle Dazzle says y'all talking like we have the Ravens roster now. That's a loaded roster. No,
Well, I
no,
didn't
we
say
ain't
that
got.
either.
No, we ain't got that. We ain't
No,
got
we
that.
were no, we were talking about the Eagles, which I don't know where that
Justin,
even
Justin.
came from.
Justin,
What's up?
excluding Lamar Jackson and Caleb Williams, take them out of the equation. Whose offense are you taking, the Ravens or the Bears?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Zay Flowers versus DJ Moore. Is that
Derrick
the conversation?
Henry
Rashad
versus-
Bateman.
Derrick
versus-
Henry over everyone. Yes, Derrick
Yeah.
Henry clearly
Yeah, for
is
sure. No doubt
the
about it.
offensive line is more established and has more continuity there. They're 100% for Baltimore.
Left tackle's
well,
better.
you're
The
established-
left
you're talking about
tackle's better.
established as a unit. Joe Tooney is
left-
the best offensive line.
the
between
left
all
tackle's
of
much
them.
Joe
better.
Tooney is a new addition to this offensive line. That
But
Ravens
he's
offensive
still
line
here.
is intact and has Pro Bowlers on it. That's all I'm
Isn't
saying.
Stanley the
Go-
left tackle?
I'm talking about go to
I'm
player
taking
for
Mark Andrews and I'm thinking why am I blanking
over
on-
Colston Loveland.
I'm
Like
taking Mark
Likely.
Isaiah Likely. I'm taking Mark
Over
Andrews
Colston-
and
you're
Isaiah
taking-
Likely over Colston
Colston
Loveland and Komet right now. Yes, I am. Right now, yes, I am. Of
So
course I
if
am.
the Ravens were like,
They've
"Hey, we'll
done
give
it.
you Isaiah Likely and
That's a
Mark
different
Andrews,
conversation.
Loveland,
You're
right
talking
now,
about
you're
building
getting-
for the
Smasher,
future
that's
versus
why he's
right
a
now.
system
Kyle.
quarterback. He
Okay,
plays
fine.
in a
Justin,
system.
I
which
think the
offense are you
Ravens
taking
offense
for the
is better
future?
right now.
Which offense are you taking for the future? Like
The
you know
Bears.
you're going to have them next
The
year.
Bears. I got Rome Odunze. I got Luther Burton. I got Colston Loveland. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm taking the Bears. I like that better.
I
I
agree.
like Zay Flowers an awful lot with Baltimore, but we're talking about for this season. Are we
I like
overhyping
Zay
this
Flowers on
roster?
any other offense not Baltimore.
Zay
Baltimore
Flowers
doesn't ball too
is
damn
the
much.
man. He is a damn.
I
good
love
receiver.
Zay Flowers.
Yeah,
I think he would be a
DJ
great
Moore is
receiver on
DJ Moore
another
is
team.
statistically better than Zay Flowers. Statistically, I'm not making this up because I'm a Bears fan. Statistically, he's a better player than Zay Flowers. He had a 1,300-yard.
Well, Zay
9
Flowers is a
touchdown.
pretty young guy.
Zay Flowers
Well,
is at 2 seasons, barely over
It's a
1,000.
strange conversation, but yes, I think the Baltimore Ravens offense is going into this season. I would rather have that. Yes, I would. I would. If you're talking about for the future, I like what the Bears are doing. I like the offensive line that they've built. I like that they have veterans and youth behind it, and they got young playmakers on this offense.
I'm saying, like,
they got a bunch of second-round draft picks.
This is what I'm saying. The fact that he said, again, you guys are acting like this is the Ravens roster, right? I'm just saying, for specifically the offensive unit. The fact that we're having the conversation, like, who would I take for the future? The Bears are, that they're close, then they're better than you think, because you're comparing them to the second best team in the NFL.
I'm not comparing them to that. I was asked that question.
If you don't think the Bears offense is comparable to the Ravens, you're nuts. You're nuts. The Bears have more talent on their offense. If those two guys pan out, I know a big if, but if Colston Loveland and Luther Burden pan out, they have more talent on their offense than the Baltimore Ravens do. They do. It's not a question.
Not this year. No, I don't think so. Not this year. Right?
But you're saying that because Luther Burden and Colston Loveland are going to be
our rookies that are going to take time to be developed.
And Caleb Williams is on. But I'm talking about, like you say, people are saying, like, you're acting like we have the roster. We do. We just need to give it a couple years. We do have the roster. Caleb Williams is Lamar Jackson. Colston Loveland is Mark Andrews. Luther Burden is Zay Flowers. DJ Moore and Rome Dunze are just benefits. We do have the roster. We're a year behind them, guys. We're a few years behind them. That's it.
I'm taking Rome Dunze right now over Rashad Bateman. I can tell you that.
Of course. That's without a doubt.
I'm taking Rome Dunze over Flowers and Bateman.
Yes.
Yeah. Derrick Henry, guys. Derrick Henry in his pinky.
A really good football player.
Derrick Henry in his pinky has more talent than every running back on the Bears roster. So, like, that's not really
no doubt about it. No, I'm not comparing Derrick Henry to anybody on the Bears.
And Ronnie Stanley's a stud, man.
The Bears should have signed Derrick Henry. That's what they should have done. The Bears had a chance to sign Derrick Henry.
$250,000 on his body and diet and his health every single year. $250,000. I just read this.
We kind of all
that Derrick Henry.
Just food alone.
$250,000 a year on his diet,
that guy's
his workout, his trainers to keep his body in tip-top shape.
Yeah,
his diet is insane.
Guys, since we're talking about Derrick Henry, I just look for a major regression in him this season. That's all I'll say.
We're talking about Rome Dunze.
Major regression in Derrick Henry this year after the amount of touches that he's had.
I'm with you.
Let's dive into this second round nightmare.
Second round contracts, because we only got a little bit of time left here. I think we beat the hell out of that conversation, and I'm glad that we did it, because like I think you get two sides of it, but at the end of the day, like we're hoping for these things to play out and that these guys develop.
Razzle-dazzle, we've already talked about it. This roster's not complete. It's the first time head coach's first year here. It's not complete. They're not done building it. They still have to add players. No. They are multiple years behind the Ravens. That's what I just said.
The Ravens were one of the worst defenses multiple years behind the NFL last year, guys.
Yes. But the Ravens went and got Kyle Hamilton, Malachi Starks. Like, they're a year ahead of the Bears. They just fixed the last of their holes.
Kyle Hamilton is the best safety in football.
I've said that when he was getting drafted. I'm like, why is he falling to 16? What the fuck is going on?
And how do they turn around and get Malachi Starks as well?
Yeah, exactly. The Ravens and the Eagles get whatever they want.
Yeah,
that's why they have the best rosters in the NFL.
Listen, I'm just saying we got to pump the brakes a little bit.
Who's comparing. Vito keeps going on this Dennis Allen tangent. Who's comparing Dennis Allen to Flus? Who's doing that? Is that happening?
I didn't compare them to Flus.
Dennis Allen is clearly an upgrade over.
Weston, you compared Flus. You compared Flus to who was.
Jeff Fisher.
Jeff Fisher. Yeah, I heard that.
I compared the situation, like a lame duck coach.
I agreed with it.
A hot shot play caller came in and took over.
Flus actually reminds me a lot of him.
Jeff Fisher.
Yeah. They're both very too conservative.
The Bears don't have close to the roster the Ravens have, and I expect the Bears to lose to the Ravens when they play them. But hopefully they play them tight.
So do I. But I think the Bears are a couple years away. Maybe a year and a half.
In the comments, I didn't see it, Vito.
After adding after adding free agents and draft picks, I think the Bears could be the Ravens roster in 2 years. I really do believe they could be that good. I absolutely 100% in my heart believe that.
We better believe that shit. We just signed Poles to a 5-year extension.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the foundation for the Bears is finally here, guys.
It's being laid this year.
Yes,
this
we
year
have
is
it.
laying the foundation.
Like DJ Moore, Roman Dunze, Luther. Yeah,
I don't
DJ
think we have it yet.
Romadunze and Luther Burden. That's the foundation for your receiving
What's up,
core.
What's up, Crooked Commish?
Colston Loveland is the foundation for your tight end. Caleb Williams is the foundation for quarterback. I mean, Drew Dahlman's going to be your center for the next 3 years. Joe Thuney's going to be your guard for the next 3 years. Darnell Wright's going to be here for the next 2 or 3 years. I mean, the foundation is set. They just have to keep adding pieces and keep filling in little holes here and there. Like, I think that Byard's a really good player, but he's probably not part of the Bears'
We got a
future.
new-
He's
we
probably
got a
not
new
planning
member.
on being part of the future, right?
Hey,
You
we
guys
got a
think
new
Kevin-
member. I've never seen Alvaro Aguilar before. Anybody
Me
seen
either.
Al-
What's up, Alvaro?
Alvaro, what up? Thanks for being here, man. You got the clap for him, Sean?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Come on, man.
Watching
Get
the
your
home
shit
run
together.
derby and spacing out.
What's up, Alvaro?
his name's
What's up,
Alvaro.
Alvaro?
Dang.
Alvaro?
Yeah, I was going to say that too, Melon Smasher.
Sure, subscribe.
The
bro.
Ravens just put Malachi Starks across from Kyle Hamilton. That's pretty frightening.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
isn't he a
that's what I'm-
second round pick?
That's what I'm saying. That was a luxury pick. They're a couple years ahead
Love
of
y'all. No Diddy.
It's a
He's
all
second
music.
round pick.
He is,
He
Sean.
may not be there after all.
us. Right.
So
Let's get into it.
let's get into
Which
those
is crazy,
second-round
by the
picks
way,
and-
that he's
and-
the second round pick.
Well, let's just
And
say
this-
this. Before 2025, no second rounders received fully guaranteed contracts, but Schlesinger and Higgins and the Ravens and Browns changed all that. Those first 2 picks signed fully guaranteed contracts, which is called second round contract chaos. Now 35 through 64 are all unsigned through mid-July. Trey Harris was the first one to come out on Saturday and say, I'm not reporting, I'm holding out. So I don't know where we go, but I
And
don't know.
Sean, and it hasn't been reported, but Travion Henderson has basically said the same thing.
Travion Henderson. I'll tell you this. I don't think you're going to see any of these guys sign until something breaks, but I will tell you when it comes to the Chicago
Burn, that's the
Bears.
second time somebody said Burn looks like Cairo Santos. This is the second time somebody has said that, dude. You look
Well,
like
that means
Cairo
you look
Santos.
like Cairo Santos.
No, dude. No, they never said it about
That's
me.
different. Brandon looks more ethnic.
Well, I'll say this. When it comes to that for the Chicago Bears, it's all about Ozzie Trapilo for me, Luther Burden, obviously, and Shamar Turner. These are 3 important pieces. I don't know if did another team have 3 draft picks in the second round?
No,
besides the
no,
Bears?
those are the only ones.
So this is a really huge deal for the Bears. I don't know how they're going to work this out. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are. I know that there's some things that suck. That if these guys don't sign, they can re-enter the draft next year. If they refuse to sign, they have to wait. And
That
the
shit's not
Bears
happening.
can't
No,
draft.
man, they're not going to pass
any-
millions and
They're
millions.
not
and
going to
millions.
not
Something's
play
gonna
this
happen.
season. It's going to have, I mean, listen, what it comes down to is the Tyler Shuck deal because he's holding out for guaranteed as much as possible because the Saints expect him to be their starter. I think we've all addressed that.
That's what he said. Yeah.
And he's right there, right after Luther Burden and, right before some other really good guys that were drafted. So everybody's kind of in a holding pattern, waiting for that to be established because then they can use that as leverage to get as much guaranteed money as possible. Kyle, what are you laughing at? What'd you see?
You look like
this guy's on fire, dude.
What's an SPM? What's that? What am I
I have no idea.
A white sperm?
I
it's
don't
a
think so. I don't
White
think so.
SPM? I don't know who that is. All right. What's up?
Alvaro, help us out
Bro,
here, man.
we're happy. Bring the heat, man. We're happy you're here. But like the second round contracts can be negotiated for the level of guaranteed money. So that being the opening, these players need to try to get as much guaranteed money as they can. Me and Brandon have been talking about this for weeks. Now is the time to hold the line.
Because
And I
most of
think
them aren't going to make it.
yeah, well, for sure. So, and there has been examples of guys getting portions of their 4th and 3rd years guaranteed as second round players in the past few years.
You look
So,
like a white South Park Mexican.
oh, I've never. Okay. What if I told you I was Mexican, dude?
He says, look him up, no disrespect.
Thanks, Alvaro.
You
Thanks
look
for
a little
being
like him, man. I pulled a picture.
Okay.
You look a little.
here. You know, I listened
love
to
it. I
some of
love
his
it.
music. I saw him do a Joe Rogan interview. I
Oh,
don't
what a
have
catch.
his,
Oh,
I don't have
no.
his brain in my, I don't have his face in my brain.
We're getting
here.
all the physical comparisons today.
Amphioris, what up? Thanks for
Why
joining
do I got to
us.
look like the kicker?
So, Dustin, what do you think? What do you think? gets
What
the
I'm
ball
saying is I think what gets the ball rolling is Tyler Shuck. I think that Luther Burden is not going to be a holdout for the Bears. I think eventually this all starts to trickle down. These guys are going to get as much guaranteed money as they can. It does not benefit a second round player to not play in the preseason, to not be a part of the training camp. These guys are going to hold the line because they need to for the players that are coming next. And you got to get this win against the NFL. So 100%, they're going to be holding out as long as they can to get the guaranteed money. But that's because they have the ability to do so in the CBA, whereas you don't have that in the first round. You're just slotted in, and that's what it is.
And guys, this has probably become a little bit of like a fraternity now. Like these guys are probably all in this together.
It's collusion. It's 100% collusion.
Like these guys.
So you want to talk about the league colluding?
The line.
These players are colluding with their agents
they're
to
holding
get
the
each
line.
other as much money as possible.
But I think, I agree. And you know what? Maybe the NFL will go. The owners will come together and come up with something like, well, how about this? The first 2 picks in the second round got guaranteed contracts. How about every pick after that gets a little bit less, but still gets more than you would have last year? Like we're still.
The problem with that in this draft is Tyler Shuck, who's going to be a starting.
I know. I'm just throwing out ideas here. I'm saying but
yeah.
I agree with Dustin. Like this is going to come to an end at some point. Like these guys aren't going to pass up $1 million. And like Dustin just said, the longer they hold out, the more it hurts their second contract. Because if they can look like studs like Malik Neighbors did last year in their first year, they're going to be owed a lot more money when the rookie contract is up. They're going to be owed a lot more money.
And I'll guarantee you this: if one of these guys were to hold out and go back to the draft, the NFL teams would not.
That's going to hurt them too. Yeah,
NFL teams would not draft them. They would collude on that. They'd be like, you're gonna pay for that. That's what would happen on that end. So I don't think anybody wants it to get to that point.
I don't think it's going to. And I think that Dustin, the NFL owners are a fraternity. 100%. Those guys, they do not. They all collude.
So I don't fault the players. I don't fault the players for trying to do the same thing.
Sure, go get as much money as you can, man. But at some point,
first, players of the team.
Sean, I think
teams are going to cave first.
I think the players generally do. I think it'll be a middle thing.
I think Tyler Shuck's going to get his guaranteed contract.
I think they only have strength in numbers, and once a couple of these guys sign, the rest will have
the dominoes all fall.
During every strike, there's a scab who folds, and that's just what it's going to take.
Tyler Shuck may not get all guarantees, but he's going to get damaged.
But the first 3 years, and the fourth year, then that'll be left up. It'll be something like that, and then that'll start to fall in line for everybody else.
Shane Falco might make the Bears.
Listen, I don't think Shuck is that good, but good for him. Hold out. But here's the question for you guys: do you think that this impacts Bears rookie? Because this is we got 3 second rounders. Yes. Do we think that this impacts training camp for Luther Burden, Ozzie Trapillo, and Shamar Turner?
Yes.
So you think they're not going to be there when it's time to be there?
I mean, if they have, that's tough, man. It's tough. Does anybody know how many rookies didn't show up to? Did anybody not show up to mandatory minicamp?
64 are not.
Who didn't show up to mandatory minicamp? Did anybody not show up?
Trey Harris.
Trey Harris so far.
No,
Trey
Harris
all showed up. No, they all showed up for those, but now Trey Harris is not showing up for the rookie report or training camp.
So I think the Bears rookies will be here for training camp, regardless.
And Carson Schlesinger and Carson Schlesinger and
Jaden Higgins,
Harris, or
Higgins.
Higgins, thank you. They signed before rookie minicamp back in May. So they were under contract.
There's no doubt that the Texans started all of it. I mean, the Texans started all of this. They giving Higgins a guaranteed contract. They knew for a fact that was going to throw a wrench in the gears. They knew it was going to start to mess things up. But
like Higgins is going to be a really good player.
And his agent did a good job for him. His agent he did something nobody else no agent has
Higgins
ever
done. Higgins is going to be a huge
Stay away from my drafts
this season. Higgins is going to be a huge part of that team this season.
And then the Browns were like, well, now we have to because we're in between pick 32 and 34, and they both just got guarantees. So we have to give Schlesinger guarantees. And then it just screwed everything up.
The Browns just guarantee everybody like it's an Oprah Winfrey show.
We've been here, Alvaro. We've been here since August last year. We started. I guess we're kind of new in that regard. But he says, where y'all been at? I never seen y'all shit. This is the best Bears group I've seen. No cap.
Hey,
love the compliment. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Monday, Wednesday.
He subscribed, by the way, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alvaro. Yeah, I think it's
going
to end.
Here's the question to me, Kyle, and Sean and Brandon, whoever wants to jump in here. If you were the Bears,
it's Cairo actually.
If you were Cairo and me, the South Park Mexican, and Kyle, Cairo's twin. So like if you were the Bears and you thought that highly of Luther Burden, should have been a first round pick by a lot of people's standards, damn good player. Why wouldn't you take care of him the way the Texans took care of Jaden Higgins? Why are you waiting?
I'd give Burden the guarantees.
Why wouldn't you take care of him and just get it the fuck?
They might be willing to.
If you think Trapillo is your starting left tackle,
why would you not take care of your guys and just why do you gotta wait for Tyler Shuck?
They might be willing to. It's not about Tyler Shuck.
But the players are not wanting to sign the deal.
No, the owner. If the first owner who does
the players, I think, is a bigger factor.
Well, and the first owner who does it is going to it's going to be frowned upon by the rest of the owners.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
you're right. And they're going to
you're
get talked
starting
to
a battle.
about it. Yeah.
Like, and the Texans already did. Like, I'm sure the owners are mad at the Texans owner. I'm sure they're all
Of course
mad
they
at the
were.
Texans
Of course they were.
owner. Yeah, like it's like
And
I said,
the Browns already burned all those bridges.
But I mean, at the end of the day, guys, if you were Luther Burden or you're Ozzy Trapilo or you're Shamar Turner, are you like you're not passing up millions and millions and millions of dollars to play in the NFL and go back to the draft a year from now? This is going to get figured out. I don't know how, I don't know when, but it's going to get figured out. But I do believe that if it leaks into training camp, yes,
we got 5 days for rookies.
Dustin,
to
yes,
report,
to answer
right,
your
Sean?
question, to answer your question, yes, it's going to hurt the development of those players. No doubt about it. How could it not? How could it
So
not? Practice makes
we're
perfect.
hoping as Bears fans to avoid that happening, that within the next 5 days, Tyler Shuck signs his deal, and then all that trickle down happens, and we get these guys signed up and ready to report for the rookies. That's really what we need to have happen, ain't it?
Here's
I
a
would
question.
guarantee.
Yeah,
I would
It's gotta be
guarantee.
Tyler
Luther's- I would guarantee.
Jenkins has not
Luther's
signed yet.
contract.
I would too. I mean, I
probably
don't
would
see the
not
difference
guarantee-
between the Texans doing it for Higgins and the Bears doing it for Luther Burden. I think they're both just as valuable to that offense.
and the
and you
later
should
on,
take care of your guys.
yeah, and the later in the
Give
second
all these
pick you
guys the
get,
guaranteed money across the NFL.
exactly. The later in the
I
second
don't-
round you get, the cheaper they are. So, like, if they're willing to pay Jaden Higgins, then you guys can certainly afford to pay the picks that came after him. They're not
Yeah.
as expensive as
Do you
Jaden Higgins.
Yeah,
guarantee-
it's going to slide down that
Do you
scale a little
guarantee
bit.
Shamar Turner's contract though?
Yes.
I mean, how much are you talking? You know, like what, 20 million, 18
If,
million?
I don't think even
for
that.
3
I don't
years.
think even that.
I mean, Higgins was 40, right? And as the first pick of the second round, I believe his was
Yeah.
40 million. So I mean,
Well,
like,
I'm just.
if
There's
that
a
trickle-down
severe.
happens,
There's
it's
a
18
Shamar
somewhere in
Turner
there?
has a severe foot injury. I don't know. I don't know. He could be
I
done
got
in a
you,
year.
but I just
But
think
you
that-
drafted him. I mean, if it didn't bother you that much that he has a leg injury, you drafted him.
You also
You must have faith that he's going to be
Sean,
healthy.
do you
See,
think
it's
this
really,
gets
it's
figured
really
out?
tough for the Bears because they
I
have
hope
three.
so.
They
I
have
hope so.
three
I
second round
I hope
picks.
for the Bears, and I don't care about the other 31 teams. I hope the Bears get this figured out with their players. But if it has to fall in line, what was Luther Burden, 39? So
Yep.
you have to wait. You
It's-
have to wait for 4 players to sign before he starts figuring it out. If that's the trickle down effect that it's going to have, but it's not.
Well,
It's
actually,
just
it's
about the
going
guaranteed
past
money.
him and then coming back.
Well,
with
it's just
Shuck.
about the guaranteed
Well,
money
Shuck-
because the
Shuck's
CBA,
the
the
one
money
holding
that
it
they're
up.
going to make is what they're going to make. There's no negotiating the price.
It's about the guarantees
Guarantees.
into how many years? Third year,
This-
fourth year? How
This
does
is
that
probably
work?
this is
You
probably
guys
going to be
want-
toughest for the Bears, guys. They're the only
Yeah.
team that has 3 of these contracts
3.
they would require to be required.
But what
to
I'm
pay.
saying
And
is
if
once
it's a trickle-down
Tyler
effect-
Shook signs, regardless of what they agree on, all
Sean
guaranteed,
Strickland.
more guaranteed than most, more than
That guy's
guaranteed
a
than most.
badass.
But what I'm saying is
I'll take that.
once Tyler Shook signs, regardless of what agreement he comes to, they're all going to sign. I don't think there's going to be any
And
more
that's
holdout.
and they're
I
used
don't.
as
I don't
the
think Trey
base-
Harris will continue
yeah.
to hold out. I think he'll be
No,
like, all right,
I
well,
don't think he wants to.
Tyler Shook accepted this deal. We're all doing it. I'm doing it too. I think they're
Yeah,
all
now
gonna
there's
sign.
a baseline set. Let's work
And
off
I
of
think
that.
it'll happen. I think it'll happen in the next 2 weeks.
Okay, and I mean that
We
doesn't
should-
get the
so that
Bears
every time
rookies
they
in
can.
time.
What do you think? What do we think? What do we think happens with Tyler Shuck? Do you think the Saints fully guarantee his contract?
Probably.
What's going
I
to take
mean,
to
up
resolve
to
that?
3
Because
years, I
they're
think.
clearly at ends.
I think they'll guarantee more than they normally would. I think they'll guarantee more than they would have last year because of Jaden Higgins and Schottenheimer or whatever his name is. I think those two have just changed it, and now they're going to have to come up a little bit, but not all the way to what Tyler Shook is asking for. I think that's the only way to
Do
make.
you think this gets resolved
this
by
situation
meeting in the middle? I don't know,
Yes.
man.
Yes.
As Shuck
That's what I
publicly stated, right? His agents already said he wants fully guaranteed money.
Yeah, because he
Yes.
expects to be the starting quarterback.
Because
for
he
that.
said, I'm going to be a starting quarterback. These guys got guaranteed money. I'm going to be the
Isn't
guy on
Spencer
this team. How do
Rattler-
I not get that money?
What's a Rattler in New Orleans?
Yeah, Rattler's over there. Yeah, but he ain't gonna be this. I don't know, man. Listen, the Saints quarterback situation is drastically
Saints
bad.
If I were-
And
if I were Kyler
Shuck
Moore.
at the end of the day is a second round pick for a reason. You were not a first round pick. You do not get that guaranteed slotted money. So he's gonna have to come to an agreement, and the Saints are gonna have to give in a little bit too. Once that happens, the rest of this stuff kind of gets out of the way. But I do believe in the next collective bargaining agreement, the NFL is gonna work really hard to clear up the language in these second round picks in terms of how they can negotiate for how much guaranteed money, because they don't want this stuff holding them up. It's not good for the players. It's not good for
I
the
don't know
team.
though, Dustin. They just kind of voice support for Lloyd Howell, so they might not get anything when the collective bargaining agreement
No,
comes.
D-Dog, you're 100%.
That guy.
D-Dog.
Go back and watch our Thursday show, guys, about how this whole thing's playing out. If you don't know it, but they just came out. They just came out and publicly backed Lloyd Howell today, which is insane.
Makes no sense. Yeah, the players, I don't know if they know what they're doing, but
it's incomprehensible.
They're trying. And listen, yes, the agents are telling these second round picks, we're in a holding pattern until this deal gets done, and then we have the leverage, the full amount of leverage that we know we're going to have to work with to negotiate the contract. So that's really what it comes down to. The only thing that would change that, as we said, is if the Bears or another team were just like, okay, we'll just give you what you want, but each side has to posture here, and they're going to end up having to give in on some aspects. But as I said, not good for these players, not good for the teams for this to be happening. So they're going to try to clear this up in the next CBA.
Thanks, Thanks, Texans. Thanks, Cleveland.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said, man. It's just they're going to meet in the middle somewhere, and then in the future they're going to make sure this never happens again. They're going to figure out how to make sure there's language is so clear, so black and white. There's nothing that can be changed.
I don't know. Isn't it starting to feel like this is something that's going to progress?
It's going to continue to be a place that players try to fucking take a stand.
Bigger and bigger, man.
Yeah. That's why they're going to want to clear this up in the CBA.
I think you're going to see it next in contract extensions.
You think we're going to see
not new contracts, not rookie contracts, but extensions?
No,
guaranteed money. Guaranteed money is going to be the focus of these players going forward. 100%.
Yeah, but extensions are a totally different conversation because they agree to the guarantees. These guarantees are written in.
Yeah, but they're trying to get the amount of the all of it
for sure,
all of it, right?
No doubt, because of Deshaun Watson. Once again, the Browns.
Hey, really?
No, and I wasn't saying it was a wrongdoing on the part of the Bears.
You ever think they'll try the replacement players again if there is a strike?
No.
Do you know who the replacement player quarterback was for the Chicago Bears? Quick off the dome. Anybody?
Was it Jim Harbaugh or Sean Payton?
It was Sean Payton.
All
right. Anything else? Anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything else?
It is part of the bigger fight, John. Listen, I just hope these guys get into camp as soon as possible because they need to be on the field.
Especially since
Ben Johnson needs to get his hands on these guys.
Two of the Bears have already missed the mandatory minicamp.
Yeah, and the Bears have the most second-round picks of any of these teams, so the Bears are getting hurt the most by this shit.
Yeah, when we talked about this on the Barely There podcast, the first thing I said to start the conversation was, unfortunately, the Bears are going to reap the worst of the benefits of all of this whole entire situation because they have the most picks, and two of their picks have already missed any chance they've had to be on the field at all because of injuries. So the Bears need to get this.
And DJ Prophet brought up Quinshot Judkins, guys. He's got that battery charge on him. I mean, like he would have benefited from getting a deal done before that happened. Because now what's going to happen with that? Who knows? I mean, we want to wait for details to come out. I don't want to assume anything on either side, but I don't know if Judkins is going to get that money at all if they end up cutting bait, depending on what happens, and if he broke any contract rules.
He might also have to be the first one that signs. He's going to take what he can get now.
He's the next one up, right?
Yeah, well,
33rd.
The Browns already set the precedent with Carson Schlesinger, so if I'm him,
he'll be the first one. He'll be the first one who doesn't guarantee.
Well, because now he might have a null and void contract. So he might
guys. Let's end with this Alvaro Aguilar question. He's a new member, just subscribed, jumping in, says we're the best Bears group he's seen out here. So I want to show love. Over or under 10 Chicago.
Under 10 wins. If I'm on FanDuel right now, it's a big places under 10 wins.
I have them win them 9.
Yep, we're all under.
9. We all have said 9 and 8. That's what we all said in our projection.
We're all under Alvaro.
Yeah.
All right, Sean, do you want to
say the same thing?
Sean, do you want to show your video?
Do I want to show the video?
I mean, you
guys, we teased it.
Yeah, you can't.
Just 9 seconds. Just 9 seconds.
It'd be bullshit if we didn't.
He always does, and Lester pitches a great game.
Dude, Javi Baez went yard, and this thing went magical.
He's just a bad boy.
Entire season. Let's go Cubs.
Go Javi!
This is our year.
Jesus Christ.
And this place went magical.
Magical. I love that he picked that word. And then
El Magical.
And then Chris comes up and says he's a bad boy, and almost seems like he's talking about Sean and not Javi. You guys,
he's been a bad boy.
You guys are like a couple.
I think I started drinking. That game was 7:05 first pitch. I think I was drinking at 11.
Our resident superstar, Sean Lugo, getting wasted and doing interviews on CBS.
Yeah. That's a segment, guys. We're gonna have Sean hammered in different places and do interviews.
Oh, that'd be great.
Sean, anything else? Anything else?
That would sell tickets, my friends.
Melon Smasher was at Blarney Stone right across the way.
Oh, nice. That was the Javi Baez game 1 in the basket home run.
All right, Alvaro, I'm with you. That's what I said.
I'll take 9 and 8. He says he'll take it. If that's what we're giving him, he'll take it.
I had 9 and 8.
Well, that's what you get. That's what you get, Alvaro. So yeah.
All right.
Anything else? Anything else before we get out of here?
You know.
Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay!
Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Yes, sir!
Caleb Williams is a tattoo artist, apparently, too.
I saw that.
Well, I love that Lions roar he does.
And congratulations to Garrett Wilson. He got paid today.
It's a Bears roar, Kyle.
Yeah. I mean, 90 million guaranteed for Garrett Wilson. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to everybody in the chat today, man.
Let's run down some names real quick before we get out of here. We got a couple minutes. Okay,
Yeah,
Amphiorus, Erica, Alvaro, Melon Smasher, DJ Profit, Dobbsy, John S, V Dog. What else we got? We have Breaking News Bruce. Who else did we have? Jedediah was in here, man. Jedediah is my favorite. He always makes me laugh. Alvaro, thank you for subscribing today. V
he says he's my favorite. He's just exaggerating to everybody else and the rest of the chat.
No,
you're all equal.
No, Scottish Bear, Crooked Commish, definitely not as favored as Jedediah. Razzle Dazzle jumped in as well. He's the guy that wants to stop us from drinking the Kool-Aid. Everybody in here. I hope I mentioned Erica. It's been a blast. Yeah. Broski Bear was in here earlier as well.
Phil, even if he wasn't here, Bears fan for life. That's our boy.
Phil Palomacino.
Phil,
it's been an awesome chat. No, he was not here, but I'm sure he's going to check us out. Listen, it's been an awesome chat. It's been an awesome show. Thanks to everybody in here. If you haven't hit that like button yet, please do it on your way out. Share this with someone you care about because we have fun here, and that's what life's all about, having fun. Go Bears.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's time that we get a drawing together for
Good
these
smile,
regular
Kyle. I like
viewers.
Bizzo Joe. Bizzo. Sorry I left you out.
Bizzo Joe.
Yes, Bizzo. Hell yeah. Dante Purified. Dante was in here too, guys. We cannot forget Dante.
Each other.
Dante's a super fan. Dante's my favorite, actually. Dante is my favorite. Sorry, Dante.
Hey, you guys are all my favorite.
Yeah,
just so you know.
We appreciate it.
No, listen, everybody's got a favorite kid. Don't act like you don't. Don't be disingenuous, guys. Everybody's got a favorite kid.
And Kyle,
I only got one kid.
Yeah, that's not fair.
It couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Purple Jesus.
Again, Purple Jesus in the house.
Purple Jesus. Thank you so much, man. He says, hey, I just got here in time, I guess. Always on. Hey, anytime is on time, buddy.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much.
Alvaro, we hope to see you
much love
on Wednesday, and we hope to see you on Thursday for the bare minimum at 11:30 at night. We hope to see you on Saturday for the Northside 9 and back again here on Monday for the House.
Alvaro, I think is pronounced Alvaro.
Hey,
if on Wednesday, if you're a big fantasy football guy, every Wednesday until the season starts, we'll be doing a fantasy, basically different rankings, different.
Wait, somebody asked during this episode to be in a fantasy league with us. Does anybody?
We got to do one, man.
Melon
Smasher. Jed said he wanted to do one for the bare minimum on Thursday. We got to put together some kind of fantasy league and get these guys in it and come up with like a good prize, man. That would be a lot of fun throughout the season. That would really.
Well, we could all just take our best fantasy team that we drafted, and we could keep the scores. I mean, you can do it on a spreadsheet. It's easy.
Yeah, Kyle, you can
take care of all that.
Hey, Purple Jesus, make the trip
really
down
easy.
for the home opener.
Most of us are gonna have the same players.
Spreadsheet, Microsoft Excel. I'll take care of it.
Sean and I do it do all the math by hands Sean does it for the playoff fantasy teams.
Postseason,
very simple.
Fantasy never stops. That's why I love hockey. Because it takes me all the way to June.
Let's set up some kind of fantasy league. Maybe we do a barely there and a bare minimum, and we get people to jump in and they can jump in on Super Chat.
We could set up a league on FanDuel or on DraftKings.
Bizzo Joe.
Bizzo's down. Yeah, we can get a league put together here. Yeah, hell yeah. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, guys.
We're going to talk about that more, guys.
Bear down, everybody.
Bear down. 4-star
Love it.
Chicago sports. Love y'all. Even though Dante's my favorite.
See y'all on
Bear down.
Wednesday.
Purple Jesus in my
Thank
favorite.
you again, Purple Jesus.
Purple Jesus, yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
Alvaro, love you, bro.
Oh, hold on. My next
Bear down. Sean, what are we doing?
What?
Are we ending the show?
Yeah, quit, Sean. What are you doing after that?
he's reading
Sean,
Purple
I was gonna
Jesus.
say,
Purple
that
Jesus
was
deserves to get a chat read. He just dropped 5 on us. My next
Oh,
Vikings
yeah,
road
he-
game with the boy will be in Chicago. Unfortunately, my wife being a teacher the first week of the season is tough to get away. Well, we'd love to see
My
you.
wife's a teacher. She starts school on August 8th. You guys are
Yeah, they
behind.
start way too early, man.
Yeah,
It's
they
weird.
start way too early.
I fucking hate it. I hate it. And they go like later in the year too. It feels
All
like
right,
It's
all
like
right, guys.
you get less time for the summer.
I was like, I'm so tired. All right, peace, y'all.
Wait, wait, wait,
4-star
wait,
Chicago
hold
sports.
on, hold on, hold
Oh,
on.
Brandon's got
He's-
something. Brandon's got
Well,
something.
he says my next Vikings road game with the boy will be Chicago. Like, why? Of all the places you could visit to watch a football game, Soldier
Chi-
Field.
Chicago's the shit
So,
though.
dude,
Chicago's
so
a
it
good
is,
city
I
to
know.
visit.
It is.
Later, everybody. I'm ending this. I'm ending it. I'm ending